Welcome back to another episode of Edge of Midnight. We would absolutely love it if you would like this video, subscribe to our channel, and check that bell so you never miss an episode. And of course, while you're doing that, I'm going to read some comments from last week's episode right now. Quote number 1. I trust LOA to tell a story I'll absolutely love and be extremely invested in. I also trust it to hate them, and for them to rip my heart out and to not trust them at all. Quote number 2. Jericho really just pulled a Frost and just crushed their mind. Quote number 3. Marius after holding hands with Lethica. Oh, gods, I'm a whore. Quote number 4. I invite you all to join me in a candlelight vigil for Billy. We'll miss you, bud.
Aww.
So, as always, make sure that you leave a comment below and maybe yours will get chosen next week. If you'd like to support the stream, you can do so in a couple different ways, like becoming a channel member right here on YouTube. You can go check out our merch shop and get some really great items over there. Become a patron over on Patreon to get access to our exclusive campaign, Shroud of Saltmarsh. And lastly, go check out thecrookedmoon.com to pre-order your copy of The Crooked Moon today. Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Oh yeah! We're gonna be rich! Rich as Scrooge McDuck! Richer even! Oh boy! It's all turning up Gary, folks! Hey Andy! Hey Andy! Hey Andy!
What, Gary, what?
Are you ready to go in 10 minutes?
Go in 10 minutes, where are we going?
We're going to the big presentation on the new investment that's gonna make us rich!
Rich, what new investment?
We're investing in a timeshare! Yeah!
Oh, Gary, no.
In Fort Lauderdale, spring break capital of the world.
No, Gary, I can't go, I'm busy right now.
Doing what? I've already committed you and your entire net worth!
Well, Gary, I'm glad you asked. I'm currently playing around with RPG Stories VTT.
Whoa, what's that?
Well, RPG Stories VTT is a virtual tabletop that allows you, as your dungeon master, to be able to create any kind of environment, indoor or outdoor, at the snap of your fingertips.
Wow, that's as fast as my wife dissolved our marriage!
Anyway, Brave Alice Games is thrilled to announce their highly anticipated Kickstarter for RPG Stories VTT,
Whoa.
The Wrath of the Devs.
Oh, why are they so wrathful, I wonder? It was a rhetorical question, Andy. You don't have to answer.
RPG Stories VTT is currently available on Steam and already offers over 6,000 3D model assets equally supporting fantasy, modern, and sci-fi gaming, automatic and fast ways to build brand new worlds, but also manual options for increased detail, 3D animated characters and monsters, an entire dice panel that supports D&D, Pathfinder, Call of Cthulhu, Alien, The Walking Dead, Blade Runner, Cypher System, Hero Quest, and more.
Wow, even Blade Runner?
Even Blade Runner.
It's a shame she won't live. But then again, who does?
No spoilers!
Oh, shucks. Harrison Ford.
They've even got Hero Forge support, quest writing tools, and a stable multiplayer connection with no interruptions.
Whoa! It'll even work on my shoddy dial-up internet?
Wait, what do you mean your shoddy dial-up internet? I'm paying for the best internet there is.
The internet was disconnecting and interrupting my Club Penguin gaming, and I got some CDs in the mail, so I switched us over to AOL.
You did what?
Finally, I can talk to my Club Penguin girlfriend.
Well, where's all my money going, Gary?
To the timeshare.
Oh.
Whoa, Andy! It already does so much! What possibly could the Kickstarter be offering? You may be asking, and I am asking.
Well, since it's already on Steam, this won't be a VTT that you have to wait like 2 years to try. And in addition to that, they're introducing tons of brand new features and quality of life updates.
I love quality of life in my VTTs, especially when my quality of life IRL is so very poor.
The dev team is implementing brand new character sheets, procedurally generated scenes, 5,000 brand new models, and exports for both Foundry and Roll20.
Wow, that's a lot of features.
Yeah,
You want fries with that?
kinda. The coolest thing is, starting with D&D 5e, the Kickstarter has tons of stretch goals to try to implement brand new automated rule sets for this RPG and all of the other ones that the VTT already supports.
Whoa, hooray for automation!
So, before Gary drags me off into financial ruin, make sure you click on the link below to go support the Kickstarter today.
Yeah, and also join my multi-level marketing scheme.
No, definitely do not do that. Just go check out the
just
Kickstarter.
click on the just link in the description.
Just go to the
just go to the description and support on Kickstarter. Yeah.
So how about that timeshare?
It's gonna be great.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's gonna be a great timeshare. Yeah, no, I mean, the guy on the phone was very convincing, and all the 50 previous seminars, I mean, he just made me an offer I couldn't refuse.
I gotta be honest, you're starting to convince me a little bit too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh gosh, we're gonna spend so many times, well, twice a year in Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale's really nice.
Yeah, like two weekends a year in Fort Lauderdale. I mean, gosh, that's...
We are Legends of Evantris. This is Grimsday, and we will see you in the mist. In this land of darkness and death, it was only a matter of time before death came for our protagonists, as bitterly swift and cold as the night wind. And just like that, our fellowship of 6 is down to 4. Sometimes the story is told by forces much greater than the wills and wants of would-be heroes. But maybe these wayward souls weren't so heroic after all. Now they have to accept that what's done is done. I certainly don't envy them. You stand still in the roots of this tree growing out of the very foundation of what was supposed to be your home, what had previously been the Crooked House, what had returned to the Crooked House. Staring at this tree that has grown so large in this space, the roots extending all across the ground, jutting out of the very earth that you now know to be foreign to the land of Druskenwald. Earth from another time and another place. But none of that matters. Lying on the ground at your feet, the lantern that was once held by a friend so dear to your hearts. You had not known Yorgrim for that long in the grand scheme of things, but the things that you had been through, the things that you had seen, those things form a bond that time itself cannot even rival. Looking at the tree, you can still see the remnants of Farron's face, now crying dark black tears of sap. Staring at it, you know that that is not Farron. She was pulled within. But it's hard for your mind to wrestle with the image that's there formed into that tree. Is that her? Could that be Farron, the Farron that you knew? Eternally sculpted into wood. You look around you and you see bits of tombstone. You see bits of the shaft of the shovel that Yorgrim wielded. Torn pieces of cloth. And then you hear it. Da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. A heartbeat. And for a moment, hope. As you turn and you see the only piece of remain that this tree, this wicked tree, had left behind, everything else having been consumed by it, is a heart nestled at the very base of the roots. Far too small to be Yorgrim's heart.
Whoa.
As it pumps, dum, dum. You see next to it a bit of the shirt that you remember William Van Brunt wearing, and it becomes clear to you the last remaining piece of your enemy beats slower and slower, yet still somehow holding on to some semblance of life, while you stand in the remains of a true friend. Jericho. This is a pain unlike any you have ever felt. For the longest time, you have sought friendship, and you found it in the darkened lands of Druskenvold. And this is the first true time that you have ever had to deal with the loss of a friend in this way. Your soul aches. You're weakened emotionally, and that is just enough. That's all he ever wants, really. It's just enough weakness to take control. Da-dum, 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 da-dum. The sound of that heartbeat is almost hypnotizing to you as you stare at William Van Brunt's heart nestled in the roots of the tree. Your pain and sadness turns to hunger. As Jericho, you begin to feel yourself slipping away.
I will look at the heart as I will just be completely sullen after the action of saving Adela has gone. And I'll stare at the heart and I'll say, "Oh, Yorgrim, we couldn't save Yorgrim, we couldn't save Miss Lethica, we couldn't save nobody. I hate this place. I don't want to be here no more." And then I'll fall to my knees and just crumple in a pile on top of the beating heart. I don't want to be here no more. And cover my head with my hands.
I would have been holding Adela, having pulled her out of the tree with the help of my friends right before Briggsy had run over to where Yorgrim was. And if I had heard this beating heart, I would have taken many steps away from it to distance myself and Adela from it, trying to regain my composure.
The silence in here is almost deafening. The sound of the heart beating, it is out of place, and it echoes throughout this space. It is significantly slower than that of a living heart beating, and you can tell that it is slowly slowing down. But it would give you pause and cause you to recoil a bit. And you hold Adela close to your chest. Can I have you roll a medicine check for me?
Yes, you may. Mm, 17 plus 2 is 19 for medicine.
You listen to the sound of Billy's beating heart. And it is slow. But Adela's is far slower. It's much softer. She is unconscious in your arms. You can feel as you begin to move away that her, the way that her arm moves, clearly the bone has snapped. You feel the, you feel bits and pieces of her body. You can tell that that's not the only bone that is broken. You see bruises appearing around her eyes and along her face. Her cheeks have sunken in. Her skin is getting colder. She's she's unconscious, alive, but only barely so. You can also see these spots you hadn't noticed before, a dark red ring in certain areas where bits and pieces of the tree, parts of the branches and roots, had actually dug in and under her flesh as if trying to drink of her essence while she was trapped inside of it. Those areas are still shallowly bleeding and struggling to heal.
While getting away from the heart, I would take her over to maybe a place where I can gently set her down, where she would be comfortable, and maybe either lay her all the way down or have her back up against the wall or something, and then I would kneel down next to her, putting my hand on her arm and maybe another hand on her heart, like where her heart would be, and I would close my eyes and whisper to her and to myself, please, I beseech you. Allow me to fix her. Allow me to restore her blood. As I attempt to use lay on hands and give her 10 points of healing.
Your hands begin to glow at first with a almost rose gold light before the red overtakes, and this soft red glow begins to emanate from your palms and out from your fingers as you reach down and you place your hands on the exposed areas of her flesh where you see the largest wounds, the broken bone of her of her arm, and you do this, and the light from Yorgrim's lantern, that soft greenish blue that washes over this entire room, mixes with the red of your glowing palms as you attempt to heal Adela, and it is eerie the way it shrouds her in shadow almost. And you work to do this all the while, Jericho, beneath your chest. Da-dum. Da-dum. Da-dum.
I'll call out, Marius, does she live?
Do I feel that she's stable? I know she's breathing and...
She, if untended, which clearly you're tending to her, if untended, she would have died.
Okay.
It's very clear. But now that you're tending to her, you imagine her wounds will begin to heal. At this moment, you're not sure what needs to be done to stabilize her or to bring her to consciousness, to fully stabilize her. But you know that you're on the right path. Should you continue, you will at least be able to stabilize her.
I would stand up and just... Or no, I wouldn't even stand up. I would stay kneeling next to her and say, I'm unsure. She's not well. I don't think she's in imminent danger of dying, but... we need to keep an eye on her. Please, you are far more capable of this than I am.
Call to me if she gets worse. Just keep her stable. And instead of going to Marius and Adela, I will turn and reach Jericho as quickly as I can. And you'll feel my hands touch on your back, and you'll hear my voice, Jericho. Jericho.
I would say, while you were dealing with Adela, that the beating of the heart would have stopped.
Okay.
If the DM will allow that.
Of course.
While all of this is happening, I would still be sort of on my knees. And I was just like kind of almost like crawl over to where the lantern was, like on the edge of the room. And I'll pick it up. Yogi, you didn't fail. But we will perform your rites. We will. And I'm gonna like put it under my arm and slowly get up and kind of turn and see the scene. Continue. Sorry.
As you are telling Marius that to continue what you're doing, if things turn to the worst, call for you. And as you turn, almost moving in time with the thump, the thump, the thump of this heart, the sound stops abruptly. And you are met with an altogether different sound. A almost slurping sound. The last few thumps that you hear sound as if the heart itself is being muffled, trapped in some sort of chamber, consumed even. Jericho, you still see crumpled over where this heart had been, clutching onto himself, shaking, trembling.
I am still clutching my chakram at one side, and I will keep it sort of at my hip behind my back. And you'll still feel that hand on your back, Jericho, and maybe it pulls back just a moment. Jericho? Are you all right?
As soon as you touch Jericho, the shivering will be stopping. And they would just be very still as Jericho would look up. And I presume there might be stains, or the burlap sack of my head would have was it like a putrefied, gross, rotted heart? Or was it like just flesh?
No, it was absolutely disgusting. Billy had been dead for quite a while. This was not a healthy heart.
Oof. And I'll just look up at you and just keep the gaze. And I take the collar of my jacket and just dab out some of the rotted blood around from the lips of the scarecrow.
When you lift up, I can see the heart is completely
It's
gone.
completely gone. There is a pool of viscera where it had sat. And you can see how some of the putrid blood has begun to spread, where Jericho's teeth had sunk into it. It almost popped like a grape, and that viscera had leaked out into the soil. And you even see how some of the roots from the tree still move and begin to soak up the liquid.
Are you with us, Jericho?
Yes.
No, not him too!
Yes, I am.
Get the fuck out of here! Go away! Not today!
You should be thanking me. I took care of a problem. That corruption would have spread.
What do you mean, problem? What do you mean, corruption? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
You saw what that goddess did you not? You saw the spreading corruption that she had. That last heart was a remnant, a seed. I did what had to be done to take care of it.
I think Lethica only has a vague sense of who we're being depressed by right now because
You
I
are.
was unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Spriggsy, what do you mean? Who is this?
I don't fucking know. Virgil? Whatever the fuck's inside Jericho, it's not Jerry. I can tell you that much.
Am I speaking with Virgil?
Jericho needs some time. He does not handle loss.
I was here to be a friend to him. I was here to do what you have also done.
Jericho has all the friend he needs.
I can say for certain that that is not true. Are you a danger to us?
I'll stand. Do I look like a danger?
You are covered in the blood of a heart that you just seem to have consumed somehow. I know not of your powers, but you share the body of someone who I know has great strength in him.
I'll look at you and I will just stare for a few moments. And I'll say, if this vessel is destroyed, then so am I, sent back to the abyss. We both have a mutual interest in keeping Jericho unharmed, do we not?
I do not know if I can trust you, but as long as you do not harm Jericho or my friends, we have much we must do.
Well, you said that the heart was like a seed, and you just ate it.
Yes.
Is it going to be like one of those watermelon seeds that grows inside you? And
Perhaps,
like bursts out from the inside?
perhaps if you ate it, yes.
Let's get one thing completely clear. We don't trust you for a second. We know you're after something. Jericho hasn't told us exactly what. But don't think for even one moment that if Jericho wants you gone, I'll make it happen.
He does. But I don't think he knows what's best for him. He's very foolish like that. He has a terrible sense of preservation otherwise. Your friends were just viciously devoured and eviscerated. Whenever Jericho had seen such things, I was in control. He only saw the aftermath.
Do you have some way to help? Can you fix it?
Fix what?
Fix what happened? I don't know what the fuck's going on. But 10 minutes ago, Jorgrim was standing right there, and Farron was standing right over there. And now they're both fucking gone.
In this pathetic state, absolutely not.
If we get you out of there, can you fix it?
I can do so much. If the maddening, shrieking and squawking and cawing is removed from me, it is all I can do to even communicate in simple, plain, common.
And why should we trust him? Jericho's possessor? His tormentor?
Lethika's right. It's quite simple. We don't trust him. We won't trust him, and we're certainly not going to release whatever he is.
Why should they listen to you, woman? I know what you are. I see your secrets. And I'll smile.
I mean, to be fair, he snapped up, I think his name was Slippery Albert, Oswald, with one fucking bite. The rest of us couldn't do shit to him. He basically ate the fucking hat, too.
His power is no reason to release him, to trust him.
I would even argue it's a reason to keep him like that.
Do not be tempted, Briggsy. We have made things bad enough already.
So they're just gone then. 2 members of our crew gone.
What do you expect? Do you see what we're dealing with? Do you know how many knights, brothers, soldiers I've lost over the years? These things happen. Yes, it's sad, it's horrible. Look at what we're dealing with. We aren't equipped. People die.
I agree. And by my count, Briggsy, 3 are missing.
I assure you, Jericho is in no real danger. If anything, he's in protection. After the night of sin and the Archbishop's delicious secrets, my clarity grows. my power grows. There's power in what the shaman carried with him. And I'll point to the lantern.
I'm holding it.
Oh.
Yeah. Is it still lit?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by that? Is there some kind of secret in here we can use? Something that can help us?
It is death itself, but I do not know if it is a power that aided you or something that has held you all back. Especially you, priestess.
I will not listen to another word that comes out of your mouth until you prove that Jericho is protected, that he is... Are you suppressing him somehow? What is the nature of your possession?
You were knocked out last time. He had about 5 minutes. Maybe this time with, extra soul juice, he's got maybe 10, 15. Is that how it works?
I will not pretend to know how long my tether will last. But it feels good to be in the form of a man. To have fingers. To have feet. 2 arms, 2 feet, 2 legs. I like it.
Do you hear this? Briggsy, do you hear this? He's not speaking like a man, he's speaking like a monster. Like some sort of creature of the night.
Yeah. You're right. We don't know 2 fucks about you. So why would we trust you to make everything right and save the day? We have some last rites to do for our friend.
Last rites.
Or some kind of rites. He wasn't very prescriptive. But we're gonna do it.
Yes, we are. I'm gonna walk right up to this, and you'll hear me say, Jericho, if you are in there, come get your body back. And I'm gonna cast Calm Emotions.
Ooh, spicy.
Oh! Calm emotions, you say?
Mm-hmm.
That's very interesting.
I would also like to say that through the entirety of all of this, I'm very intentionally staring and studying Jericho's body to watch for any sort of movement towards the lantern.
Okay, roll perception.
If he
check.
makes any sort of furtive movement, I'm gonna be on his ass.
Okay.
What roll am I making?
Perception.
It's gonna be a 21.
All right.
21. I need to pull up my character sheet. I don't know. What's the stat?
I attempt to suppress strong emotions. Charisma saving throw if you're trying to avoid. Creature can choose to fail if you wish.
I think that Jericho would choose to succeed. Or to fail.
But Jericho's not the one in control.
Oh, I should roll.
You did roll.
I did roll. I need to see it. Check the charisma saving.
Suppressing things like charmed or frightened.
23.
That unfortunately beats my DC.
It does, but as you do this, the light from Yorgrim's lantern that had been bathing this entire room in a blue-green glow begins to pulse. Boom, 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 almost like a heartbeat. And where secrets thrive in shadows, they do not fare so well in light. Virgil, There's something about this light that you find incredibly unsettling, and as it gets brighter and brighter and brighter, your hold on Jericho grows weaker and weaker and weaker. Between the magics that you're attempting to do on your friend and Jericho's will and want to return to his friends, and potentially what little bit there was in this room left of Yorgrim, combined, helps to push Virgil back. You feel, Virgil, like you have mere seconds left of control.
As I feel this, all kind of there'll be like fluttering of Jericho's eyes. And I'll turn and I'll look at the lantern and I'll look back at Lethica. And I will just nod. Yes, you are the only one here who would do anything. To do the right thing, to do what must be done. I know your secrets, but it's not my place to share. Well done, priestess. And crumple to the ground.
And in that exact moment, one final flare of blue-green light pierces throughout this room, almost blinding. Briggsy, you get the full force of this the most as you are holding the lantern aloft. As all of you are bathed in this light, you can faintly hear for but a moment the wailing of souls before the lantern goes dim in your hands.
Oh, is that you, Yogi? Oh, thank you. Oh, I think he's still in here. Yogi, can you hear me?
Your voice echoes throughout this room. No more heartbeat to muffle the sound. No more clicking from whatever resides inside of Jericho. No more pulsing of the lantern. It's silent.
I'm not sure if he can hear us or if he's still within reach. I do know that quite often the dead are not gone forever. There may be something yet we can still do. I mean, look. And I point to the tree where Farron's face is. If she was truly, truly gone forever, why would her visage still be upon this tree? They might be dead for now, but there might be hope.
Did I, based on what we witnessed, would Briggsy think Farron was dead, or was there very clearly some kind of like portal that she walked into?
There was very clearly some kind of portal she walked into.
Well, who knows what the fuck that was? I mean, she's gone from here, but at least there's hope, you know what I mean? We saw her go away and there's like this, her memory's still here on the tree.
That's what I'm saying. You're right. There's still a bit of hope. Optimism, if you will.
But Yogren was fucking ripped to pieces. Eviscerated.
Ate up like some sort of, like a bird in the water. I don't want to be here no more.
Jericho, your friends are here when you are ready. It's going to be okay.
Gosh, we never should have came here. We never should have left home. I never should have left that old pumpkin patch.
I know it hurts. We share the same sorrow. It's going to be all right.
I'll kind of sit back a little bit, still I guess on my knees. I'll have like my hand in my head in my hand.
We didn't even get no witches at all. Not a single witch. No which way or whatever. We ain't done nothing here.
It just means that our work is not done. It's just begun. We can't change what's happened. We can only keep moving forward and find a new path. There's no point wallowing here in a basement.
You think that the whole, Crooked Queen, you think she's far from here? You think she's someone else's problem now?
It's hard to say. We all saw the same thing. None of us are entirely sure what it means. That being said, if she's truly gone, there may be evidence of the such. We've been seeing signs of her everywhere since her release. If those things are gone, then maybe she is too.
If the Feywild's anything like the Shadowfell, I hope that bitch is fucking far, far away.
I think she's gone and never coming back, just like Farron. You heard her. She bored her way into Farron's soul, what like a termite would into wood. She got out because of that ritual what Miss Macduff helped us do. But at least I guess she ain't here no more. It's somebody else's problem, not ours.
Well,
I miss Farron, guys. Shucks.
me too.
Once we can see the path forward, we can make it our problem if we want to. That is not without question. I'm gonna turn and look at the wooden shape that is now what Farron's face would have been. This sort of, almost, not statue, but like a carved...
It's almost as if the bark of the tree. Think about the trees in Game of Thrones.
So literally,
it's
a
literally
trunk. It's not,
the trunk of the tree,
and her
face is formed into it. The eyes are crying what look like black blood or black tears, but it is the darkened sap of whatever this tree is.
So
Go ahead.
it doesn't look like it would be something that would be easy to take with us.
No.
Is this like a black tree?
You're almost completely shrouded in darkness. But it is a very, very, very dark wood.
If I was playing Professor Clayton Azra, would I think this was an Edelwood tree?
Would your character, would Briggsy,
Briggsy, no, yeah, that's
well,
meta. That's meta.
no,
Yeah,
well, to be fair, Briggsy sailed. He has probably been all over Evantris. Is there a chance he would have seen an Edelwood tree in his travels?
I mean, I guess there's a chance, but
Roll
it's
a nature check.
probably pretty low.
Roll a nature check.
You only need to score 42.
You've got a 5% chance.
I think you need a natural 20. You need a natural
Even
20.
then, I mean, we'll see. I mean, shit, if he spikes a 20, it's hard not to give it to him. Oh, it's natty, all right.
The opposite.
This is
What? What the fuck is this thing?
this is
a tree. It's fucking wood.
this is a tree unlike anything you've ever seen before. If you read books, maybe you would have read something about a tree like this, but you don't read.
Would
these really just
Lethica,
flattened trees.
having spent so much time in Striga,
Yeah.
perhaps know what an Edelwood tree would be?
I would love to
How do they
ask.
work?
I think you would
Oh,
potentially roll a nature check.
a nature check, you say?
Yes, another nature check. The DC will be adjusted accordingly.
You're fucking telling me a shrimp frog is wrong.
Unbelievable.
What's that supposed to mean?
15. That is enough. You have seen these trees. You know that there are woods in Stricka that are filled with these trees. There are cults that worship them. There's lore behind these trees and what they can do. You've never really delved into it yourself, but that these trees specifically have, according to legends, have inherent magics. There are even tales. There are tales in Strigga about a certain valley that popped into existence out of nowhere. And some believe that those trees had ties to that. You can't quite remember the specifics of it, but
It has been more than a few decades since I spoke or read of a tree like this one. But I know that they have great powers. Some venerate trees like this. And as I'm speaking, I'm going to be walking up, and I'll have pulled out a small handkerchief. And I want to wipe away the tears as best as I can. I know that sap might be sticky and thick, but
it is.
If I can,
And warm.
I want to. I'm looking and seeing Farron's face as I do this, not the tree shape.
The eyes are unblinking as you wipe away the sap. You coat a piece of cloth in a thick covering of this sap. The smell is pungent, but slightly sweet. It is incredibly sticky and very dark, and all the while, it never stops. It never stops leaking. No matter how much you wipe up, the tears never fail to run.
When my handkerchief is completely saturated and I don't think I can wipe anymore, I will fold it up and I'll give it to Bag.
Bag actually reaches out hungrily for it and nearly rips the cloth out of your hands.
Bag, you will be careful with that. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to have a long talk when I get back up.
Oh,
You watch yourself.
I have an idea.
I'll stop doing your nails in the night.
Maybe Adela can tell us something once she's well.
I'm sure she has some information regarding this. I don't know what the state of the house will be as we go back up, but I'm sure Philip is losing his mind.
Are there branches like that I could reach up and almost hang the lantern on one? Just so
I
that
would
it's
say
lighting
for
up the room.
The lantern is the very faintest of a glow. It looked at first, after the overwhelming explosion of light, that it had completely gone out. But there is a faint, very tiny wisp still dancing in the very center. It's not enough to provide even dim light to a small area. But now that the darkness has enshrouded all of you, you can see that it's there. You imagine that you would need more of a light source. You know that you have Yorgrim's final rites that need to be said, and the only remains of him are in the soil at your feet.
I will take one of the bottles that I have that hold my various rums and other effects, and one that's empty, and I will walk up and I will, as the tears are coming down, seeing that they aren't being wiped away, I'm going to try to collect kind of a jar or like a bottle full of Edelwood sap. I mean,
Tree juice.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what this is.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say you're able to. It is free-flowing.
Just in case. Hey?
Be careful with that. I have a vague recollection that its sap can be used in perhaps rituals or magics.
Oh,
It may be dangerous.
Briggsy doesn't know that.
I'm telling you now. You don't have to refer to yourself in the third person. It's a strange way to speak.
You know, I appreciate your concern, but it might be useful later. Maybe Adela can, use her divination magic and tell us more about it.
I wish there was some way we could retrieve something of Farron. Perhaps this will do the same job.
Well, maybe while we do Yorgrim's last rites, I don't think that Farron's dead, but I mean, for all intents and purposes.
I am surprised you said intense and not intensive. Very good, Briggsy.
Well, I did go to grammar school.
God, do you see the way that Miss Farron got it up? There was a loud crunching sound.
Yes, it is best not to focus on those memories, especially now. Just think of the good times with Farron. We will be, just as Briggsy suggested, performing a last rite for both Yorgrim and, I think, Farron. It will help ease
That's true, I suppose.
the
But
pain.
Lethica's right. It never gets easier. Losing people will always be difficult. And the best thing that we can do is do our best to put them to rest.
Well, it's just that I never had no friends besides my best gals, the Oakham sisters, and I suppose the and Virgil. And so I never had a friend to lose until just now. They don't feel nice.
No.
Is there anything of Farron left? Or did she go
There's nothing that you can find.
nose to
of Farron
hoof,
left.
just everything?
I was also going to suggest a hoof. Not one hoof?
Not one hoof.
Not her staff is gone. It all went through.
All went through.
It's all. She's having an epic battle with Orthos in the Feywild.
It's hard to know.
That's pretty cool. But probably I don't know any of that. She got ate by a tree, that's what I think. That's all I know.
I would look around and I'd look down to Adela and I'd say, she seems to be all right for now. I'm not sure what these last rites even would entail, but... And I look at where Yorgrim was and the pieces of his things and effects may be and say, he couldn't possibly mean doing it down here, could he? I'd hate to attempt to lay him to rest in this horrific basement.
I do not think we do it down here for more than one reason. If that was his wish, I would be surprised. I think he just meant to help send his soul on, to find its way, to find peace.
Why wouldn't we do it here? It's his final resting place.
You remember what we were told. This is not ground from here. This is not an appropriate place for his spirit to rest.
I don't think we're getting back any of the bits of him. We
No.
know his blood is in the soil. I think we do it right here, personally. I can be overruled, but
What Briggsy is saying does ring true to you.
Oh.
All that you see on the ground here are material possessions. Bits of his shovel, shards of his tombstone. Tombstone. I don't know, I corrected myself. Tombstone.
Tungsten.
Bits and pieces of his clothing, and things that he carried on him. All the pieces that were Yorgrim. The soil has already consumed. He's already part of this place.
Lethica doesn't get a feeling that this is a accursed place to lay anyone down. She would want to find the right resting place. If she doesn't feel like this would be inappropriate and that Yorgrim would be comfortable for it, she wouldn't feel that way.
I think that would depend on Yorgrim's interpretation of his final rites. His body, for all intents and purposes, has already been interred here. The rites that he was asking for and looking for is the goodbye. It is allowing his soul to find peace on the other side. His body is already here. You're not looking to find the perfect soil. What this tree in this place wanted to consume, it already has. You're letting his spirit free from this place.
we don't get to fucking choose. This is his final resting place, whether we like it or not. If we want to go somewhere else to say nice words about him, we fucking can.
Well, what if there's like a nice spot up on the hill next to the crooked house? I know he wasn't a fan of the greenhouse, but there's gotta be like, he kept like peacocks and such, right? Maybe there's a nice little, and they kept bees. Maybe there's a nice little apiary or a nice garden out back.
And
We
you
can
know
place-
that, I mean, the place had changed on the inside, but coming up the driveway, the crooked house was beautiful with the things that Adela had done to it. There's very possibly a beautiful garden, maybe a nice sitting area, somewhere that you could go to say what it is that you feel like you need to say. If you want to make your way upstairs.
That would be very nice. Given what we experienced here, I did not relish the idea of coming back here to commune. Not that his body will be a part of whatever shrine we or space we say our words, but Briggsy, if you want to say your words here, I'm not going to stop you.
No. I'm not a captain. I'll defer to you. If you think it's best to do it somewhere now nice outside, I think Yorgi would have loved it.
At the very least, we can gather the pieces of tombstone, perhaps bits of his shovel, and create some sort of marker. He was a gravedigger, after all. We'd give him a gravesite.
Oh, that's a nice thought, Marius.
Oh. Like a little cairn.
Ooh, that's a really nice thought. Maybe we place like the lantern in the cairn or on top of the cairn. We put a shovel inside. And we like say, "Here lies Jorgen."
I don't want to seem insensitive, but if I were you, I'd take that lantern and I'd tie it to my hip. I wouldn't let it out of my sight. We're not sure what that's capable of.
I don't think it has much time. Can I tell it's weakening?
Whatever happened between it and Lethika's magic definitely seems to have diminished it. You still see that tiny little wisp in the middle. That has not changed at all. I would say you would be unsure as to whether it ever will.
You're right.
We can certainly leave it, but
No.
it's a powerful piece of magic.
I'm not fucking leaving this. No, hell no. No. We're taking this with us. If Yorgi thinks he failed, the least we can fucking do is carry this with us.
Thank you.
At least some part of him is still on his pilgrimage.
I'm glad you agree. Keeping an eye on Adela and making sure that she's still okay, I would begin to help see if I can pick up pieces or chunks of the tombstone. Something that might be enough pieces, or might be able to create like a nice ring of them, and then maybe even just the wooden, even just the handle of the shovel that we could like make as a marker in this ring of stone is what I'm envisioning in my head. And I would just try to begin collecting pieces of his physical items that have been destroyed and left behind to the best of my ability, and just helping out any way that I could.
There's an old sea shanty that they sing about sailors that were lost in the northern isles of August. And all that was left was a long-forgotten, lonely cairn of stones.
Oh, I've heard that one. It's a nice one.
I think that's appropriate. Why don't we collect the pieces we can and just mound up some stones?
All right. That sounds lovely.
I will tie, to Marius' suggestion, I will tie the lantern to my hip so that I'm not hanging it on evil, horrible trees. And we'll build a little cairn. I don't know if
You're
there's
building
any
the
shovel.
cairn here, or are you building it upstairs or in the gardens upstairs?
I think for this, it's just to mark where he died. You know, those like crosses on the side of the road, right? Like where there was a car accident. Like it's sort of one
I
of those
think
things.
that's mighty nice. Briggsy, is Miss Adela okay?
From what I know, She seems to be all right. I don't know how long she'll be in this state. I've provided what little healing I can. Lethica's far more well equipped for this than I am. I'm keeping an eye on her.
Let me take a quick look. I examine Adela and get a sense of how much Marius was able to bring her to a stable place. Whether or not I feel like we have time for this now.
Roll medicine check for me, please.
16.
She is stable. She no longer looks like she's on the verge of death. You can see the yellowing of some of the bruises as they're already starting to heal. She is still in a very weakened state, unconscious, but her breath is no longer as shallow and her heart seems to be a bit stronger.
I'll whisper a few words of prayer under my breath and put a cure wounds into her, just pouring a bit of the healing energy that I can channel, just to where I see things are a little bit more severe, just to make sure that we have this time for ourselves to pay respect.
And you feel like you do. She takes in a very deep breath. Her eyelashes flutter for a second, but her eyes do not open. She breathes deeply. Her chest rises and falls a little more strongly, and you feel like she's in even a much better state.
12.
Perfect. Thank you.
Gosh, even after all that, Miss Adela is so mighty pretty. She's like an angel sleeping there. You think she is an angel? We don't know where she came from, do we?
I couldn't even begin to guess.
I think she's just a person.
She's like an angel from above. She's our guardian angel, that's why we're still here.
Philip's got to be worried sick.
Oh, I hope Lord Philip's okay. I hope that like a tree didn't come alive and ate him up upstairs.
Oh.
If I recall, the outside of the house was lots of lightning bolts, so hopefully he did not get struck.
This is where Philip killed that gross old weasel, wasn't it? He did a mighty fine job of that.
Yep.
You all have this conversation while you slowly make your way around this place, pulling bits and pieces of tombstone from beneath the twisted roots of the crooked tree. And all of you collectively collect every piece of your grim that remains. Shards of the shovel, the hilt, the 13 pieces of his tombstone that you're able to find. Pieces of cloth and things that he carried on him. You find a page that had it's ripped and torn. It's a page from a storybook that he had read to someone that had been special to him, and even through everything, he still kept it on him. All of these things you find as you collectively meet up in the middle of this room with everything. The final remaining earthly trinkets of Yorgrim. You take the shards of the tombstone and you begin to build the cairn. Do you put anything in it?
I think all the little bits and pieces that we find, we would build the cairn around it.
You're going to take, outside of his lantern, you're going to take anything with you when you decide to leave.
I don't think so. It's all just destroyed, right? Shards and chunks.
I just picture us
metal.
building the cairn up around the shovel.
The shovel itself is very much what's holding these pieces up. You're stacking them up around it as you put everything into the middle and slowly take these pieces of tombstone and build this small cairn. And it takes you about 30 minutes, during which time you can...
I would reflect in silence.
It might surprise everyone to see Lethica pull out a candle, but I do and I set it, and eventually, with enough wax, get it to sit on one of the front most stones, just at the base, just to illuminate the space a little bit more and give us a little bit more sight in this dark space.
Wow. Jorgrim really carried around all of this stone and more on his back and all those heavy chains. Every step he took.
Are there any chains left?
Links, not anything long, but you
So
do
little chunk.
find.
Yeah, it would be a
Busted up
it
chain.
would be a Jorgrim themed pile of stones.
He was really a strong guy.
That he was.
He was like the backbone of the party.
All right. We'll do your rights outside, Yogi.
Is that where we should say our final words then?
I mean, it seemed to be the consensus.
I think we should do it here.
Now that the fever of combat has left, I feel that we could find a peace here,
It feels right.
if you
I mean,
agree.
it's his things. It's where he met his end.
Yes. Surprisingly wise suggestion, Briggsy. Well done.
I don't know how to lead this sort of thing. You know, when someone dies on a ship, we just sort of, throw them on the deck, say some nice words, and, kick them off.
Oh, that's all that's right. It's all right. Just some nice words. Whether you kick him off into the sea or
It's
not.
not funny. You know what I mean?
I'm not laughing. That's not
When a member of your crew is laughing.
The gallows humor sets in.
The words do more than just sound pretty, Jericho. They are not just nice. They have a dual purpose. You can heal from them. Find your own way out of the darkness. And you can, perhaps, if the spirit hears you, guide it to its peaceful home, to its own sanctuary.
I hope Jorgrim's spirit isn't all twisted up like what we saw in the mist on coming over here.
No.
I hope he's at peace. He was going for so long with that heavy stone on his back. You didn't fail, Jorgrim. We saved Miss Adela because of your sacrifice, killing Billy with your shovel. It wasn't so bad. What happened? I don't know. I'm not good at words unless they're to a tune, I suppose.
I think that was very nice.
I'll try to think of the song here. And I'll kind of be tuning my banjo, replacing a string if anything got broken in combat. I'll take my hat off and I'll have it on my chest. I'll pick the lantern up. Then I'll take my hat off and I put it under my arm as I try to
As Jericho said, there is a sad joy to be found in our grief for the loss of Jorgrim. He carried the weight of the dead on his shoulders. And now, like him, we carry a similar burden.
That's so true.
I will shoulder it gladly. It reminds me of his strength.
It does.
If you don't mind, I have a few words I would like to say.
Please.
I'll step forward and... Jorgrim and I initially didn't always see eye to eye. We're both deeply troubled individuals. I did my best to show him the tenets, what I thought was the way. I'm not sure the tenets were very much help to him. I'm not sure the tenets were very much help to me. Still, all I can offer is a small prayer to both him and Farron. And I hope that they'll be all right. and I'll hang my head and I'll say, "Farewell, illuminated one, until we meet again. We carry the sun in our hearts until then. Give us the strength to carry on until the next dawn. We greet your ally, the Moon Maiden. The silver light guides us until then. There is always another dawn. Farewell, precious sun."
I don't know how I'm supposed to follow that up. But what I'll say is, Yogi and I go way back. I guess roughly the same time as all of us, but he never complained about me calling him Yogi. And you know, he was a bit of a dour lad, but he was the backbone of the crew. Like the bosun. And that's sort of what we've become. A crew. There's 6 of us. I killed my whole crew. I didn't mean to, but it's the nature of monkey paws and curses and jungle temples and the like. You know, I'm still haunted by him now. And you hear, "Shut up, Eddie!" Eddie crawls back underground.
He's standing there with us.
He's got a little hat.
He was such a nice guy. Oh, go away! And he crawls back underground. Yogi, you were the best of us. You were a devil, a black sheep, a really bad egg. So drink up.
And I'll pour some rum over the cairn, and then I'll take a swig. As you swig, I'll be plucking my banjo, kind of a sweet, mournful tune. Lay down your sweet and weary head. Night is falling. You've come to journey's end. Sleep now and dream of the ones who came before. They are calling from across the distant shore. And I continue like that and sing Into the West by
The song that Jericho sings
anyway.
fills this space. And you all find yourselves shrouded in mist. You don't notice it at first as it dances around your feet, spiraling around the cairn. But you begin to notice it more as the lantern begins to flare once more. And in the shadow of the dancing light within, you see behind you a figure. A woman shrouded in mist, cloaked, almost formless and shapeless in the dark. But the mist swirls around her, giving her form, deep within her that same spectral glowing light. She looks between all of you but makes no sound as she reaches out a long hand and beckons Yorgrim's spirit forward. The lantern light flares and that tiny spark of light gets a bit larger and larger until it bursts forth and you see not Yorgrim, but a flickering spark of who he had been. This small spirit dances around each of you for a minute, resting on each of your shoulder. The only way a spirit can say goodbye, before he answers his maiden's call and joins her in the shadows. She looks towards you once more, the spirit of Yorgrim nestled deep within her heart. You feel at your side, Briggsy, a small shake as the lantern crumbles and turns to nothing but dust. You all notice this, and then as you look back, you see the mist subside. Where the maiden had stood, she is no more. Where that small, dancing spirit had been, there is no more. You have put Yorgrim to rest in this place.
Keep to the shadows, my lady. This spirit walks its own path.
The darkness of this place finally begins to sink in yet again, as the final remnants of light have disappeared from the space. As you hear from off in the corner, "Oh God, I feel like I'm gonna be sick. Oh, it's so dark in here. Is anybody out there? Philip! Are you here? I'm scared, honey. Philip!"
I will quickly extinguish the candle that I lit as the final part of my ceremony and race to Adela, saying, Adela, we are here. We are here.
You feel her reach up and grab onto you. "Oh God, let the go. Where's Phil? Where's Phil? Where's my honey?
We're
Is he
still
here?"
beneath the house, but we are going to get you out of here, and then we will find Philip.
"What happened?"
It is a long story. Much has happened since you're trapped in here with us.
You think my dress is all right? I just got this.
I am sure it will be fine. If it isn't, then we will repair it. It'll be okay.
Okay,
You're going to be
alright.
all right. You're going to be
Do
all
I
right.
look okay?
Yeah, you look. You be like an angel.
What happened, Jericho? Are you doing all right, honey? She reaches up and puts her hand on your face. You look like you've seen a ghost.
Yorgrim and Farron are dead.
What? What do you mean Yorgrim and Farron are dead?
We could save him. We could have saved him at all.
Yes, we lost 2 of our allies tonight.
I don't think I'm ready for this. I need Phil.
We will get you out of here now, and then we will explain everything.
All right.
Be careful. We will
All
move
right.
you. You are weak from your injuries.
No, I can stand. I'll be all right. She goes to stand up, and immediately she lets out a yelp, as very clearly one of her legs is broken, and she crumbles to the ground as she begins to sob a little bit. Actually, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stand.
I can carry you. It's fine. We'll get you out of here. We're not.
Thank you, Mary.
We believe that the danger has been quelled for now, and we're not sure of the state of things as we head upwards, but we'll get you out of here and we'll find Philip, all right?
All right.
Here. And I will gently pick her up.
We both can carry you.
I just look at Jericho I'm helping.
I'm helping.
Gosh, yeah, I'll just scoop her up and gently hold her and try to make sure that she's comfortable.
I'm
Gosh,
feeling
this is
a
a
little
little
bit woozy.
If she needs more healing as well, I can, while I'm holding her, I'll be ready to use more lay on hands if I feel that becomes necessary.
It doesn't seem like it's necessary. It would definitely help her, but it's not as if she's gonna fall back unconscious if she doesn't get it.
I don't look
She's
like I'm
just
made to
in-
lay on hands here, Jesus.
You what?
So let's look at made to lay on hands here, Jesus. Let's just calm down here. You know, lay on hands points, they don't come cheap these days.
Jesus Christ.
I will pick her up
Level
and
6.
I'll look to the rest of the gang and I'll say, all right. We need to find Philip. We need to see if we can even get out of here.
Let us make our way.
Lord Philip is gonna be okay. Don't you worry.
You notice that she is spinning the wedding band that she has on her finger, and occasionally you don't even need to roll perception. You hear her whispering to it as if she's attempting to communicate with him through this band, and you see that she looks horrified that she is hearing nothing back.
He failed that Final Fantasy X challenge.
Oh no.
No, you have to dodge lightning 100 times in a row.
That's to get the super weapon.
Yeah.
I think the spirit of Yorgrim might be in chat.
What? Who? No, Yorgrim's dead.
Guys, I can't believe I fucking died.
He's just floating there.
Don't worry, my cousin, my Chipper's gonna show up soon.
All right. Briggsy, you lead the way. Jericho next to me. Lethica, you bring up the rear, all right?
We'll be right behind you.
If I need my sword, we're going to have to protect Adela.
Gosh, we won't be able to fit through. You carry Miss Adele alone. I'll slow you down, but I can provide some pumpkins. I'll cast dancing lights.
Oh, I'll have to lead away. All right.
You're a captain, Briggsy.
No, I'm no captain.
Oh, was it the metaphor? Oh, wait, we'll talk about our metaphor.
We're not
outside.
much of a crew anyway. All right, I can give it a shot. After this, we've been in a house so many fucking times. I know it like the back of me hand.
And you do.
My left hand pops out and turns around.
And I will start to walk my way out, but then right before we leave kind of the main chamber that kind of goes in, I'll turn and I'll look at the cairn. And I'll just say under my breath, "Goodbye, Yogi." And I'll turn, put my hat back on. And I will lead the rest of them out of the basement.
You have been down to this portion of the house far more than you would like. And nothing good has ever come from it.
Pretty true.
And it is with there's peace. A little bit of peace that you found in performing the final rites for Yorgrim and seeing what you believe has happened to his spirit. And with that, you feel a little lighter as you exit this place. And you do know this house like the back of your hand at this point. The layout of this place will be etched in your nightmares.
Yeah.
As you make your way up from the basement and into the house proper. And at first, you don't notice that the house has changed. But as you make your way through the kitchen, you realize that it is in immaculate condition. All the plaster has been repaired. The windows are fresh. The stained glass that Adela had put in is right back where it had been when you first arrived. All the changes that had overcome the house when Billy took up residence have been reversed. And as you look at the walls, you see, as crooked as they had been, they look much straighter, less lean to the side. Though the house itself will never fully be anything but crooked, it is not as extreme as it had been. The air feels fresh here. Looking out the window as you pass through the kitchen into the hallway, you see that outside the storm clouds are still billowing. The dark of the eternal night is ever darkened by the clouds that shroud the sky. But you do not see lightning or rain or the heavy sounds of thunder as you make your way through the house. It is quiet. The floorboards don't creak beneath your feet. They feel firm and secure. The door handles are finely polished. The curtains are freshly sewn in place. Everything about this feels like what it was supposed to be, a home.
If I'm leading the way, instead of taking the parlor to the foyer, I would take the main hallway out of the kitchen into the
Well, you know this house like the back of your hand.
foyer. And I look for beavers. I make sure there are no beavers left.
Or bees.
Or bees. Certainly no bees coming from the beavers.
There are no beavers or bees.
Oh my gosh.
Just checking, fellas. No beavers. No rascally beavers always stinging you with weird guys. Flailing with bees.
Gosh. We would figure out what that bee guy was. Anyways, Miss Adela, we're gonna find your husband right quick.
No, it wasn't very
Oh
clear.
gosh, I hope you do. He's not responding to me.
With any luck, he's right on the porch where we left him. He was separated from us as soon as we stepped foot in this accursed home.
You listen and you do not hear the banging that you had heard outside when the door had slammed shut and locked as Philip had thrown himself against the door over and over again, frantically trying to get into his wife. Everything is silent. There are no sounds of thunder, no sounds of rain, no sounds of wind. You could hear a pin drop.
Adela, is there any chance... did he mention anything at all to you that if something were to go wrong that he would get back in the carriage and go somewhere for help or to...
I can't imagine that Phil would ever leave me. He would always come to my rescue. You don't
understand. The love we have is unlike anything any worlds have ever known.
I'm sure.
I can't live without Phil, and he can't live without me. He's told me so. I know it to be true.
All right, don't.
If he's not here, Marius, something's happened. Or... Oh, I don't want to say it.
He's going to be fine. We're going to find him, all right?
All right, I trust you. I trust you.
Quickly, come on, let's go.
And probably that Kellen or Billy or whoever was controlling the house at the time was probably afeared of Lord Philip on account of him being so powerful, and that's why they waited till we was all separated to lock us inside. That's probably what happened. He's so big and strong and powerful.
Oh, my Phil is so big and strong and powerful, you don't even know.
Gosh. I mean, I'm sure we saw him kill him. I mean, if you had any idea what we went through with this gross weasel guy named Filthy Jasper, you couldn't believe how much he gave us the old runaround. And Lord Philip just looked at him and he exploded into gore and viscera.
Oh, that sounds like my Phil. He's just the berries.
It was very impressive and berryful. That's exactly right, Miss Adela.
You see that she wipes a tear away from her cheek as she tries to put on a brave face. She winces in pain as she shifts in your arms, and the broken bones, the shock of the whole ordeal has almost completely faded from her, and all of the pain that adrenaline had quieted has now begun to erupt, and she's doing her best to put on a brave face, but she's very emotional, in pain, and concerned.
Can I ask a question, Dungeon Master?
Yeah.
I don't know if Jericho would have noticed this, but when we're hearing the crooked house turn crooked and Philip was throwing himself against the door, did it sound like a tall beanpole man throwing himself, or was it what you would expect for like a
Roll
tall,
an
skinny
intelligence check as you're trying to recollect a memory.
Oh, is he like superhuman strength?
Did it feel like a, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, was it a
I
natural one?
Your attention was firmly on Billy. That was the last thing that you had expected. You were concerned, of course, that the door itself had been locked, but Adela wasn't your concern in that moment. Philip's concern for his wife wasn't your concern in that moment. It was the specter in front of you.
Gosh.
It's gonna be just fine. Oh, you've really done wonders with the place. We never really got to say.
Oh, thank you, honey. I did it for you.
I mean, it looks mighty pretty. This looks like a very comfortable. I cannot wait to, now that all the horror's over, that we can turn it into a nice, cozy home for us. On account of us having the key and the deed and the like.
It's all yours should you want it still. So, I'll be frank. I don't actually know any Franks, but I'll be him for a minute and tell you that I wouldn't blame you, not even a bit, if you didn't want to live here after what happened.
You haven't met Frank? He's the big horse.
Oh, you got a horse named Frank now.
Oh, Miss Lethica.
Yes, his name is Shadow Frank.
Oh, I like that name. It's cute. Oh,
we could
gosh.
introduce you
Oh, my
so you
neck
know at least one
hurts.
Frank.
I'm sorry, what?
We could introduce you so you know at least one Frank.
He's
Sure.
a noble steed. I miss Chester already. Anyways, he's happy with his oats and his apples
Didn't we leave the horses like right outside?
and his
or no?
carrots. No, we only took Witch Stomper and Dawn. We left the rest back at
Oh, that's right.
where they were coming from. I guess. Yeah, I don't know what became of Witch Stomper. Oh gosh.
Well,
Dawn's a magic horse, so I think
Shout out.
Witch Stomper's the only one who's in any real danger.
guys, I don't think Witch Stomper made it.
Well, we don't know that. It was the inside. He was outside of the house very firmly.
Don't worry. Witch Stomper is incredibly hardy. I have faith.
Smash cut to Philip riding Witch Stomper as he tries to get to the next town over so he can help. Come on, you fucking whore! Come on!
God, that's awful.
Witch Stomper's incredibly exhausted because he's carried Briggsy for the past couple of days.
And then Philip.
If we are still moving towards the front door, and attempting to burst out onto the porch. To the moment that we're outside, I would be yelling for Philip's name to see if he can hear me as we like survey the area to see if the carriage is even still out front.
We go through the foyer. I check for any beavers. just making
You
sure.
you check for beavers and bees
And peacocks.
and peacocks
The peacock's gone, right?
through the entirety of this place and see none of it.
Okay.
None of the imagery that you associate with the horrors of the Crooked House seem to be present anymore. All of those things, Adela had mindfully gone through every room and removed anything that would be a memory of the darkness that had lived here and replaced it with imagery that is beautiful and happy and hopeful. And you can feel that as you walk through these halls. And you do make your way towards the front door. And as you open it and you jump out to yell this, your voice is completely dwarfed and drowned out by the roaring sounds of what sounds like thunder off in the distance. You are not met with the carriage out front. And you see that even though it is perpetual night here, that the sun, or that the moon shines its soft silvery light over the land. But tonight it is shrouded in darkness with the thick, roiling storm clouds. You look off towards the direction that sound had come from, but it is not thunder that you've heard. What you see is not something you had expected to see. A veritable army of wraiths and ghouls and ghosts propel themselves forward, almost riding on the storm. And at the head of them, atop a giant gray steed, is Philip Druskenwald, an entire army of death behind him as he charges towards the house. Flanked on either side of him are two skeletal horsemen on either side. All of them charging forward towards the house. Even from here, you can tell, though you cannot see his face, you can tell that he has one sole purpose: to rescue his wife. You look up, you see Adela's face go from complete happy to,
Oh no, it's exactly as I feared. He stirred up the barrows. I told you my husband was powerful. He would do anything to save me.
and she spins a ring.
Bill, honey, I'm okay. You can put him back, baby. Yeah, the ring's not working. We might want to hide.
Wait? Hide?
Oh yeah, he's not gonna barge forward and have a moment of clarity or anything. Look at me, I'm broken and bruised. If he sees me like this, we're not gonna control him. We might want to get off the porch.
Oh, gosh, yes. We'll go to the garden where them peacocks probably live.
That's a good idea.
All right, we run.
You run towards the garden as you watch as this entire army, this personal army of spirits and wights pulled from the barrows, led by Philip, makes their way forward. You see once again that on either side of him, there are two horsemen. On the left side, a horseman wreathed in a white light, a lance held firmly in their hand. Next to a horseman that is shrouded in a blue ghostly light, a longsword in their hand. On the opposite side, you see a horseman wreathed in green, holding a flail. And next to them, a horseman glowing in purple light, a scythe in their hand. As they all charge forward under Philip's control, you see that he calls out, raising his cane as they get closer to the house, as he's fuming with anger and fear, as he calls them to surround. Find my wife. Do whatever you have to do. Tear this house to the ground. Adela will be found. And you watch as all of these wraiths and spirits begin to encircle this place. The horsemen themselves moving to the cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west, as they raise their weapons towards the sky. Philip begins to circle around this place as Adela looks up to you.
I'm not sure what he's gonna do. But we gotta let him know I'm all right. now that we're not at the house, now that the wraiths can't, steamroll us and trample us, not realizing we're there, they're helpless without his command, we gotta let him know I'm here, but I'm not gonna be able to yell. So, he's kind of in a tizzy right now. I don't know how we avoid sneaking up on him.
Wait,
we don't want to
still-
spook him.
Are you still here? I thought you were staying there. Go get him.
What are you
He's
talking
gonna
about?
Blow. He's gonna come.
My legs-
Why did you follow us? Stay up here!
Marius is carrying me. My leg's broken, you dumb dumb.
Marius, why did you leave her there?
Oh, you should have left her in the tent, man.
Let's fucking go!
No! It's like none of you are listening to the words that I'm saying. We had no
You're on
reason.
your own, Adela. See ya.
We had no reason to believe that he wasn't going to trample the house.
Now that we are out of his initial path, we need to leave you so that he can find you.
Hey, Philly, she's okay!
No,
She's
okay.
Philly!
Lord Rescue is us. We're cool. Oh, we solved the problem. We saved your wife. We saved her.
Let us hope that he is the first one to find us.
Your screaming is drowned out by the sounds of the wailing of this entire spectral army.
Yeah. Cthulhu's stepmom says 10 and 9 is GTFO. Yeah, 9, 10 and is fuck this shit, I'm out. See ya! Just kidding. That's a groan.
Well, we all die.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have, like, message sending or anything like that?
What do you think I've been trying to do? Phil, it's Adela. I'm doing all right.
And then all of a sudden you hear, almost as if coming from the gem on her ring, Adela, honey, is that you? You're all right, honey? Where are you?
Oh, I'm over in the gardens, baby. What are you doing bringing the barrel army down with you? Didn't you know I was with the heroes of Druskenwald?
You immediately hear the sounds of sobbing. It is in an instant. The amount of fear that Philip had felt completely cracks as he begins to sob over his wife. You feel the clouds overhead open up as rain begins to pour down and pelt you. The weather itself mirroring the emotions of the lord of this land. You see Adela hold her ring to her heart and keep the communication line open as the sound of her heartbeat transmits through her ring and to her husband. And with some time, you hear his choked sobs come to an end as he clearly pulls himself together and tell her he'll be on his way. You immediately see this darkened light emit around everything as all of the spectral wraiths and things come to a standstill. Their marching stops. He has halted the army here at the house. From your vantage point, you can still see the horsemen at their four corners, their weapons raised towards the sky. They do not move. They stay there, their orders still in place. You eventually hear the sound of the hooves of Philip's horse as he makes his way around the house and eventually finds you in the garden. He says nothing to any of you as he nearly vaults off of the horse and rushes to Adela, pulling her out of your arms quickly. He holds her to him, cradles her in his arms as he begins to mumble into her hair, into her neck, kissing along her jawline, her lips, taking her face in his hands and telling her over and over, I love you, baby. I love you, honey. And you can see that you can see this look on his face of absolute joy that his wife, his true love, is fine. Before eventually cradling her into his arms, making sure that she's all right. And he turns to all of you. You can see he quickly wipes the tears from his face. He stands up straight, looking another 2 or 3 inches taller. Something only Andy could wish to attain.
I don't really want to be like 6'6". I'm good.
No. He's a good 6'2", 6'3".
That's it.
No, actually, he's probably like 6'5". I would imagine he's like very lanky and tall.
He's like Conan O'Brien.
he's definitely like Conan O'Brien. And he looks towards you, and almost as quickly as you see all of this emotion on his form, now that he has his wife in his arms, he picks up his cane, kicks it with his foot, and begins to spin it. Well, that was quite the wild ride you guys found yourselves on, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was certainly a close one.
And you kept my wife safe?
We did our best to keep her alive.
Well,
Jorgrim died for it.
We lost 2 of our friends in the process.
my condolences. It is horrible to lose someone you love. He looks down at Adela for a minute and smiles.
Well, I know that you called Jorgrim in separately, and I don't know, and you're like the master of death of this land, or I don't really know how it works, but can you like sense his spirit? And also Farron, she was with us. She was the druid. I don't know if you can sense if she's still here and still alive. We would just like some closure there. She got hit by a tree.
I don't necessarily have a connection to your friends the way that you do. Not the way I do to Adela. If they're still here, I can't sense them.
That's all right. Thanks for trying.
No, I think he's dead. Like dead. You know what I mean? Like not coming back. Dead forever.
I know. I was
Gone.
I know. I was just trying to maybe be hopeful, and I don't know. Well,
But to know that they gave up their lives to protect my wife, I will think of them fondly.
Oh.
They have done me a great service here today. That all of you, look at you, dirty, battered, bruised, miserable,
Yeah.
all for Adela,
Yeah.
all for Dreskenwald. I owe you one.
Yeah.
no, think nothing of it.
Especially considering I'm going to tear down your house and we're going to completely destroy the thing.
What?
Oh,
Oh yeah, I can't allow something like this to remain in my land. Filled with evil. It almost killed my wife.
I mean,
It kept me from my wife.
your wife did a really nice job sprucing up the place.
You really did, honey. And he looks down at her. I tried my best. It was really hard, too. It was so dirty. Shush, my love. You need a rest. Yeah, right.
oh, so that means that we won't destroy it because you tried really hard?
Oh, no. We're definitely going to destroy it.
Oh,
It's really for the best. We can have something else built here for you at a later time, if that's what you want and you want to put down roots. So I'm going to have to pay you back in some other way.
all right.
Don't say it like put down roots. It's just something about that doesn't quite ring.
Oh,
Sure.
Yeah.
I can say it another way. If you want to make this place your home, we can build something else here in the future.
No.
I think
That won't be necessary.
No.
But for the time being, my home, it's going to be your home. We'll leave from here once the deed is done, and we'll get you to Chateau Clair de Lune. We got to get you ready for the masquerade after all.
Oh, that's still
That's the
on?
most important. Of course it's still on. We don't plan like that for so long, just to throw it all away. You didn't do what you did in Folson's just to throw it all away.
Oh.
But I do. I gotta do something right by you, because you've done something right by me. He reaches down and caresses her cheek.
It feels wrong being excited for a party when 2 of your friends just died. But I'm a little excited.
I mean, that depends on where you come from. There are some places in the realms of death where they celebrate death all the time. Death is some big party. So think about it that way. You're not celebrating the death, but you're celebrating their life.
Yeah, I can't really see Jorgrim partying.
We also haven't killed any of the witches you wanted us to kill, so we've got a lot of work to do.
That reminds me. You know what? That's what I could do. I told you I'd give you the artifacts you were looking for when you killed the witches. What if I gave them to you early? I mean, you can't get out of here till they're gone anyway, so you might as well help me kill them regardless. But sign of good faith. Shows you I wasn't lying. Shows I've got what you were asking for. I'll give them to you the night of the masquerade. How does that sound?
That would
Protecting
be
my wife.
most generous.
What? Wait, you mean after all the heroism and life-saving, including your wife, that you get to reward us handsomely?
Sure.
That's very generous.
I mean, with, of course, the promise that you're gonna continue hunting after Mother Midnight and rid my land of all the witches. I still have a witch problem on my hands.
Yeah, of course.
You have my word.
Then I don't see any reason I couldn't give them to you now. We're much more than acquaintances. With what you've done for my wife, we're practically friends.
And I have learned
Yeah.
much about this land, much about the people here. It is a beautiful realm.
He smiles down at you. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
Do you have it with you now?
Oh, of course not. I've got an entire hallway at Chateau Clair de Lune, where I keep all of my prized possessions. Artifacts from all over Evantris and everywhere else.
So you're saying if we're staying with you, I can see it?
Sure.
You're a very kind and generous lord, not giant and generous lord. I'm sorry. I'm just a little all mixed up, and my head's all a flitter with crow squawking and Virgil talking. Anyways, we swear on everything that we'll kill Mother Midnight on account of the fact that she tricked our friend Yorgrim worst of all and broke his heart. And so she really deserves to die, and we want to see her killed terribly and devoured by a crow demon.
Well, maybe not that last part, but certainly dead. And, I mean, I think he said we can't leave until the deal. I mean...
Even if it was...
None of us could. I couldn't even if I wanted to. We're all stuck here until we get rid of those witches. So, it would behoove you to get rid of them. And if I can pay you early with the little trinkets that you require, there's no skin off my back. And my sweet wife is here with me, and the best help she could possibly be in, considering the circumstances, it's the least I can do.
Are you familiar with the entity that we faced beneath the house?
Well, we haven't really talked about it. I'm not quite sure what you faced. I just know you've told me that 2 of your friends have died, all to sacrifice themselves to save my precious wife.
Do you know what an Edelwood tree is?
Edelwood Schmadelwood. The tree's a tree.
We have much to discuss. I look forward to it when we have been able to get rested.
Once we get back to Chateau Clair de Lune, we can have a nice, hearty meal before you lay your heads down to sleep.
And then perhaps brandy and cigars.
Ah, that'd be lovely.
Oh,
Well-
and maybe cocktails in the parlor.
I'm sure we could have it arranged. It will depend on what Adela feels like she's up to tonight. She's been through a trialing, harrowing experience.
She needs much healing.
You
magic.
wouldn't understand what this must have been like for Adela.
Oh, and maybe after dinner mints on our pillows. What?
Listen, don't be a mouse. Ask him for a glass of milk.
What? A mouse? What the fuck are you talking about?
You gave a mouse a cookie. Be gracious. We thank you very much. Whatever you can offer.
Who gave a mouse a cookie?
We are all tired. Sleep is new to me. And ever since coming to Druskinwald, I feel like I need it. I don't understand it, but I feel very sleepy right now. And then we could all go home and rest our weary heads, just like our dear friend Yorgrim.
I could certainly use a drink.
Well, I wasn't sure you would make it. I expected that you wouldn't. I hope. It's no offense to you.
None
Just
taken.
if something can keep me from Adela. It's a true evil. I expected to have to bring down the entire might of Druskinwald on this place. And for the most part, I'm going to have to. I will level this house.
Are the Barrow under your command for long?
Why, yes.
There is not just the evil of the house, but that which lies beneath. I would recommend that no other living or soul enter this land until we have diminished the power. Put these Barrow as sentry.
Yeah, they can guard the place. I see no reason they can't.
Oh.
Now, I don't have my carriage with me. Obviously, riding atop my steed. So I'll have to call in the palanquin. And that will help you make your way to Chateau Clair de Lune. I'll ride ahead with Adela. I'll be able to get home faster and get things ready for you. And if she is fit for dinner, we'll meet you for dinner. If not, I will at least have someone meet you at the door. They will take you to your rooms and get you settled in, and we'll have dinner tomorrow. Either way, we'll be able to talk through this, and maybe even find some time tomorrow to show you your artifacts. I'm not going to give them to you until the masquerade. It'll be a grand ceremony in front of everyone. Oh, that'll be good. Everyone will love that.
Thank you for your generosity. We appreciate it.
You really are the nicest. You are as wonderful and nice and kind of a rich folk that I always imagined meeting.
Yeah, you really didn't have to offer that. I mean, based on our deal, we're not even close.
And you didn't have to save my wife either, but you did.
We're glad that we did. And I know Yorgrim and Farron would be even more at peace knowing that we did.
Oh.
I'd do anything to protect my wife, my lovely Adela. And you see that she has already fallen asleep in his arms. She is gently snoring as she is cradled up against his chest.
We'll stand back, away from this house, so you can do what needs to be done. We'll wait for our ride and follow the orders from there, I suppose.
All right.
That sounds
Then,
nice.
let it be done. And if you decide at some point, once all of this is said and done, that you would like to have a home here, and this spot is quelled of its eternal evil, we can build you a house right here to whatever specifications you like. Adela, I'm sure, would love to design another house for you. But that's a problem for another time. And he raises his staff up towards the sky, and you watch as a dark purple and black magics begin to swirl around it. As he shoots a large orb into the air, you watch as 1, 2, 3, 4 tethers of dark magic shoot from the weapons of the horsemen at the corners and combine with the orb above the house. And in a blinding, shadowy light, you watch as the house is completely leveled by spirit and wraith and dark, undulating magic.
Badass.
As the dust begins to settle, you see that Philip has already begun to ride away a little. He turns towards you and points his cane at you, not in a menacing way, but in a way of acknowledgement as he taps it to his hat and calls out on the wind, "Thank you, and I'll see you at Chateau Clair de Lune." As he begins to ride off into the darkness, you hear a sound come from him, this strange, spectral, haunting, almost like a banshee's song, a banshee's wail, as the wraiths and skeletal warriors and spirits begin to march away from the crumbling ruins of what once had been the crooked house. You watch as the four horsemen begin to march forward on steeds that move far faster than any steeds you've ever seen. They loom large over the rest, clearly now in command of this barrow army, as they all begin to follow after the Lord of Druskenwald. And all that's left are a small smattering of spirits. And you begin to hear the ramblings down the road of what sound like not wheels, but wailing spirits in a circular song, as piercing the misty cloud cover of this place, you see a large palanquin drawn by spirits as it makes its way towards you. It pulls up next to you, and the remaining spirits that encircle this house begin to combine with those that make up this giant carriage isn't the right word, but this giant contraption that will take you through the moors into Chateau Clair de Lune. You watch as spectral steps roll down from this palanquin, and one of the specters writes a spectral tie and motions for you to step foot onto this contraption. All the while, you see that about a handful of specters and wraiths have begun to encircle this area, clearly keeping watch, keeping guard like they had been instructed.
Is it open air, or does it have an enclosed carriage-esque?
It has a carriage-esque part
Like a
to
door?
it, Not a door.
No door.
You should step up onto it. It has a big back portion where a
like
seat
an
where you
awning.
can kind of like an
Like a
awning.
covering. Yeah.
But it
Okay.
doesn't. It's not.
Nice.
It's not fully enclosed.
There's no cabin.
It is open to the no cabin, and it is all intertwined with skeletal architecture and wraiths and spirits that move throughout and wail throughout it.
The moment that these spectral stairs make themselves visible and this skeletal person, this spectral person makes themselves, strays are tied, I would actually take a few steps forward, look to my friends, motion towards the thing, but I'd reach out to help Lethigon first.
You do.
As it's coming down,
Thank
as
you.
it's flying at us, I would have turned to everyone and said, "Guys, what's a palanquin?" And I turned back. I'm just screaming while they're gently.
I would help
I'll
Lethigon.
I'll
and
go
then-
up and,
then
cross my
insist
legs.
that the others
I'll put
go
back
before
on my
me.
lap and sort of get comfortable and sit down.
I will not be on. I'll be still just facing, just kind of just staring at like the rubble of the crooked house. Is I'm just gonna stand there.
Jericho,
Jericho.
Gosh.
are you all right?
I know a lot of bad stuff happened there, and I wanted to destroy it too, but now that it's done, I can't help but feel sad. We have a lot of memories in that place. That's where we first became friends.
That's where our friend is resting.
Both of our friends, well, maybe Farron's someplace nice and green like the vision. I think she might be okay. Goodbye, Crooked House.
Goodbye, Crooked House.
I know you was bad and crooked, but you're very... I'm glad that I met you.
And I'll turn around.
You cleaned up real nice. I'll turn around.
And I'll get up.
Yeah, I would just not help you guys on, but motion for you to go.
I'll
first,
take your
being,
hand.
being polite. Okay.
And
And then I
we'll
kind of
separate.
have like a weird look on my face as I like.
And then I'll pull my arm around, my hand just in your hand, and I take my arm away.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
And
Pops back
I'll
in.
take your hand, and as a bunch of black feathers will spray out, and then as Virgil's head will poke out of my mouth, and then force its way and fly in a little circle above as I climb on.
Gosh,
Are you all right?
no, I'm fine. Virgil, you seem to be in good spirits. I thought you was mighty cross about that key. You seem like a different person. Oh gosh, I'm glad that you're happy too. Well, that's nice.
Oh! What about Witch Stomper? Philip! Philly!
I think we'll have to ask him
Miles
that
go
at
away from
dinner.
here.
Oh.
I'm sure he's at the stables of Chateau Claire.
You see the spiritual form of Witch Stomper. I'm kidding.
As you're all settling in on this palanquin, I would follow you up after I've helped everybody get on, and with one last look over my shoulder at the house, I'll say, "Rest in hell, demon." And then sit down next to you, all of you, and just take in what's around me, what's going on this contraption, and I've never seen anything like this before, and
You
I'm very
haven't.
interested to
It's
see how it operates and just kind of watch.
It is a fully spiritual palanquin. It is driven by spirits and made of bone. The way that it moves, there are no wheels, but the wailing dead that propel this thing forward. And it is unlike anything you've ever experienced before. There's no warmth to this.
Look at this.
Though it looks, the seat you sit upon feels soft beneath you, there is no warmth to it. It is the cold of death that surrounds you as you are propelled forward. And it moves rather quickly. You are able to make your way away from the crooked house, away from Folsom's, possibly for the last time. You look over your shoulders.
We're like flying in the sky. We're like.
No, it's rolling. It's hovering above the ground.
I see.
As you are making your way away from this house, you look back at the ruins of the Crooked House. What was supposed to be your home. You make your way further and further from the final resting place of Yorgrim, the last place that you saw Farron, from memories both good and bad. And there is a moment, a few moments, where you get to think about everything that has happened in this place. As you pass a sign that shows that you are firmly leaving Folson's and you are making your ways into the moors that surround Chateau Clair de Lune.
Brixie, was Eddie underneath that house?
No, I mean, yeah, he was.
Okay.
But it's not like he's always there, you know, he didn't die there. I can it's sort of one of the powers Mr. Crossroads has. He can kind of summon me dead, I guess undead crew, wherever I am. So, you know, he'll be crushed and buried, but the next time I summon him, he'll be wherever we are.
I will be... my spirits will be in heaven lifted, getting away from Full Sense, as I will play a folksy version of Night on Bold Mountain, as we are pulled by the spirit host of all of the skeletal riders.
When you're not playing, I'd be trying to comfort you. I'd be trying to offer you words of words that I've used to help counsel others who are going through profound grief for the first time.
Oh, shucks.
Do we feel like we have time to talk amongst ourselves on this trip?
Yeah.
You are on the roads between areas. So you haven't fully gotten to the moor yet, but you have seen that you've left Folson's behind. You've left Cyril behind. You know that Cyril is in good hands, that Hugo and Maggie Macduff are doing what they can to make right by the city. You know that the evil that had been there has, at least some of it, has been quelled. And with that comfort, you leave the boundaries of Folson's and make your way deeper into Druskenvold proper as you roll through these heavily tree-lined streets that lead eventually towards the moors of Chateau Clair de Lune. You don't know how long you have, but you know that this is a big place, and you imagine you have a while to talk amongst yourselves.
And Virgil's is circling overhead. See kind of and what I would say is that he's just circling and watching, and kind of the squawking and pecking at the head and all of that's completely stopped.
I think I would just be telling stories of just like, you know, the times we had with Yorgrim. Hey, Marius! Remember that time Yorgrim, you know,
Wherever he is now, I'm sure he's standing in an alley in front of hundreds of commoners.
Yeah, no, he probably is. Remember when he got tricked?
That was sad. That was sad, Briggsy. I think that Mother Midnight has to pay on account of breaking Yorgrim's heart. There ain't nothing worse than a broken heart.
We'll get our revenge. It's only a matter of time. This isn't over.
I think that's the one thing that pisses me off the most. Is that Billy the bitch still got the final laugh. The last fucking laugh. In the end, he won.
I don't agree. Yorgrim won when he spoke his words of wisdom in the forest before Billy became crooked. Yorgrim said that he failed, but in that moment, he was the victor.
Yeah, but I mean, what if he'd killed Billy right there? Chopped his fucking head off. And then Kellen couldn't have fucking snapped him up and used him like she did.
Just because evil uses a moment to do evil does not make that moment wrong or corrupted. It was still the right thing to do.
Yeah. Who decides what's right?
And we can't think about that. You can spend your whole life thinking about coulda, woulda, shoulda, what could have happened, and you'll drive yourself crazy if you go thinking like that, Briggsy.
You have this conversation for about an hour before the tree line gives way to the rolling moors. You see before you foggy expanse of land. Before you are soft rolling hills dotted with heather, gorse, peat bogs, barrows. You see all of it laid out before you and shrouded in mist and fog. It seems to stretch on forever. The wind here is cold. As the palanquin propels itself forward almost faster, you see at the very edge, what almost feels like the edge of the world, a grand structure. Hundreds of lights illuminated inside, but shrouded in the mist and fog the way it is, it's hard to make out the architectural features of it, but you can only guess that this must be Chateau Clair de Lune at the very end of the moor. The palanquin propels you forward past these bushes with spiny evergreen, thorny leaves and branches, dotted with flowers in the shape of stars and moons. It's strange and beautiful. Flowers of purples and blues and soft silver milk-like glows. They look like flowers you could have seen at home, but with an otherworldly appearance to them. The wind whips past you as if the unencumbrance of the moor causes the wind to be a little more fierce and cold as it bites at your skin. You talk about these things as that structure gets closer and closer and closer. It takes another hour traveling across the moor as the palanquin floats over bog and brush before you eventually find yourselves propelling towards what is very clearly a cliff face down to the sea. And perched at the very edge of it in all of its splendor is a beautiful milk silver chateau, grand in its nature, incredibly large. Carved into the stone are images of, are depictions of the moon and stars and other astrological symbols. You see that atop the large pillars that rest aside the wrought iron gate are carved into them what look to be two giant crystal balls. And as you make your way towards it, you see that this entire place is illuminated with a soft yellow light. Eventually, the dirt roads of the moors turn into a soft gravel drive that leads up to this gate that opens as if on its own as the palanquin makes its way towards this place. And it towers over you in its grandiosity. The gravel pathway leads up and around a large fountain of what appears to be some sort of dancer, holding covered in silks and coins, almost like a belly dancer of sorts, with all sorts of musical instruments around them. But it's a fountain, a statue of some kind. It reminds you, Lethica, of the Vistani of Striga. As you make your way forward towards this, you see it in its grandness, this dancer in all of her beauty. And you see that everything about this place looks grand in some way. And as you finally make your way around the front and the palanquin parks at the marble steps, the doors themselves open and you see into the large foyer, marble floors, a marble stairwell that leads up and curves around deeper into the chateau. The walls are lined with wooden panels at its base and intricate carvings and gilding all over this place. This is truly beautiful and grand in every way. And as the palanquin stops, you see what appears to be a man standing in the doorway. His outfit is a pale cream, covered in gold, gilded or gold embroidery. Beautiful swirls and flowers and images of stars and moons intertwined in the motif. His hair is high atop his head, very clearly a wig covered in powder. His face is pale white, his cheeks dotted red with makeups. He smiles out at you as he waves his hand, and you see the frilly cuff around his wrist shake and flounce as he begins to make his way down the stairs, his dainty shoes clicking on the marble stairs as he makes his way out to you. He ushers aside some of the specters. They roll down the spectral staircase and motion for you to disembark. And as you do, he bows. "Good day, I am Jean-Luc, and I will be your host this evening in place of Lady Adela and Lord Philip. They have retired for the evening, and so I have been tasked with showing you to your rooms and getting you acquainted with Chateau Clair de Lune."
Good
And
evening.
he bows very deeply, and you see the cuffs around his wrists are a very delicate lace.
Good evening.
"Good evening, Lethica. It is lovely to have you with us." And as he bows, you are able to see, now that you're up close to him, that every bit of him is carved from wood.
Whoa. That's fucking cool.
Jean-Luc, my name is old Jericho Sticks, and you can call me Jericho, most folk do. We saw this place out the train, the window of the Ghost Light Express, and it's even more beautiful than it looks shining high on the moors. This is a place of a dream. It's a
And
dreamland.
quite right. Lady Adela absolutely loves to make things beautiful. And this was her dream, a house like this. And so it was built exactly as she demanded. Every bit of it, plucked straight from her dreams.
It is exquisite.
Be sure to tell the Lord and Lady that we are again very thankful for you having us. My name is Marius Renethir.
It is lovely to meet you. It is lovely to meet all of you.
I'm sure you know my name. I'm Briggsy.
Captain Briggsy?
Just Briggsy.
Well, just Briggsy. It's lovely to have you in residence. And you must be incredibly excited about the masquerade to come. The house has been in an absolute uproar as we prepare for all of the lords and ladies of Druskenvold to make their way here in 3 days hence. But we can speak about this once we've gone inside. Let us not tarry outside. Follow me in, and are you hungry? Do you need a drink?
A drink would be lovely.
Gosh.
Drink and food would be fantastic.
Cocktails in the parlor would be lovely.
Sarsaparilla and popcorn in the parlor.
Do you need a full meal, or would an evening tea suffice?
Well, I think a full meal, if I am alone, I will just snack, but
It's been a long fucking day. It's a full meal.
Oh, and this, as Virgil will land on top of my hat. This gentleman here is Virgil.
He
You're
doesn't.
surprisingly polite, Virgil.
He doesn't address Virgil by name, but he nods curtly at him, making note of his presence, but turns back to the rest of you.
Gosh.
Well, then, follow me, and we will make our way to the dining room, and I will have a full meal set out for you.
Thank you.
Jericho, we must not tarry. Let us go.
Oh, let's not tarry at all. Gosh, that was always my favorite part of Corn and Lone Day was the popcorn. The children love to eat it too.
He quickly motions you into the house, and you find yourself in this gigantic. I mean, there's no else to say it. It's a mansion.
Oh.
Looking at this place, the floors are marble, the wood is carved and gilded in gold. The frescoes are painted all along the ceiling, down every hallway. The doorways are nestled in intricate archways, and you can hear the sound of your footfalls echo throughout this place as you make your way quickly through this place. Jean-Luc chats with you periodically as you make your way through, pointing out different people in photos, pointing out pastoral scenes of different, pastoral paintings of different areas in Druskenwald, and giving you little tidbits of what the paintings are for and the statues are about and where Adela's inspiration came from. And you can see that this place is a beautiful mix of Baroque artwork and as well as Adela's own personal fashion. This little bit of jazziness. You can see that it blends in a very strange way, as if it was hard for her to separate her dreams from who she is. But it is very clear that this place was made as an homage to what it is that she aspires for. And it is quite beautiful. And you make your way through this place, and eventually you are taken into a room which with large mahogany wooden mahogany walls. There are books here and there. It looks similar to a study, but it's not quite as lavish. There's no large desk. It's a parlor of sorts, a seating area where people can enjoy some time. There's a large decanter of whiskey. There is already a tea service here, should you choose to enjoy that while you wait for dinner to be finished. But what catches your eye are 4 outfits that are hanging on hooks against the wall. They are very similar in dress to what Jean-Luc is wearing. Frilled cuffs, stockings, and boots, and they all seem to be tailored to your individual body types. I hope you don't mind, but while in residence at Chateau Clair de Lune, there is a certain expectation for one to assimilate and look the part. Not to say that you don't all look fabulous, and you can see he attempts to quell a look of disdain as he looks between your dirtied and soiled clothes.
It's not my fault. I can't take this bag off. No, underneath it's just hair and shedded skin. Like wearing a cast for 2 weeks.
Through the door there, you'll find heated baths. Please take the time to bathe and clean yourselves and change. We will have, the ladies' maids will come in and take your attire. We'll have it cleaned and returned to you.
Gladly. I can't wait to be rid of this burdensome armor.
I will come and fetch you when dinner is ready.
Also, I'm sorry on my shabby clothes. Normally, folk like me aren't allowed in nice fancy mansions, and I never would have presumed unless I was directly invited. I'm so glad you have something other than these filthy rags, what I got. I just want you to know that I feel mighty sorry about it. Apologize to the Lord and Lady for me.
I will do so, my lord. And he slowly backs out of the room and closes the double doors, and you find yourself in this candlelit room. You can smell the bathing oils, and you can already see the steam begin to wind its way out from beneath the door that leads to the baths in the other room. And you have a little bit of time before dinner.
Well, I'm not wasting a moment. Getting out of this, I need to clean myself. I need a moment to relax. I'm sore, my muscles hurt. It'd be nice to get clean for a change.
Would love to try to clean up as best I can.
I mean, I really don't. I ain't never done that. I don't really know what that. I don't. 2 things.
I'm getting changed either way. I'm gonna run up and I'm gonna get the outfit that's need for me.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, don't let all of this stress you out. All of these lords and lady types, they're all the same. Gonna be very happy that we saved them, and they'll look past any potential faux pas we may commit. Just try to enjoy yourself.
There's a bunch of lords and ladies of Druskenwald. Archbishop. Well, I guess not Archbishop. Or no. Oh, but do you think that little Cosette is gonna be here on account of being the lady, and maybe Miss Macduff, since Cosette is her ward?
Regardless, you heard what Adela said about us. We're the heroes. It will be fine.
I mean, you think he's serious about giving us the artifacts? I mean, we could be free from our curses in like less than a few days.
I am deeply, deeply concerned about all of this. If I'm being quite honest with all three of you, I've had many, many decades to think about this. If the Grail is real, and if Lord Druskenwald happens to have it, and if I am certain it's the correct one when I lay eyes upon it, then what? I can't drink from it.
Why not? Isn't it the whole fucking point?
We have work to do. What happens when I drink from it and I'm no longer a vampire?
Oh, do you
have any idea how old I may be?
Actually, no, I have you ever told us how old you are?
Oh, I mean, I know you're old.
Like, I know you're old, but like...
What use will I be to any of you, or the people of Druskenwald, if suddenly all of my wishes come true?
Well, I mean...
And I'm just supposed to carry around the damn cup? Parade it around and show it off?
Maybe you can keep it here in a safety deposit box.
Well, wasn't it like... I don't know, wasn't it supposed to be like you drink from it, or your king, King Victor, his grace, I suppose. If King Grace drinks from it, suddenly he defeats all your enemies and becomes a holy sanctuary of the land?
The cup is a tale, a myth. I'm not even sure it's real.
Didn't you swear your life and your honor to your very own king? Your own best pal?
Victor is dead.
Oh, you don't know that.
I'm quite certain of it, Jericho.
Probably like a wise old king or something. Probably like a with a long beard. And he's the good king, probably. They always sing good tales about a good old king.
He was a great king.
Look.
You don't only have this conversation in these rooms. You bathe and you dress, and eventually Jean-Luc comes to collect you. You pause the conversation for a small while. He helps you affix the powdered wigs atop your heads.
Do we figure out how the bag mechanics work? Because I still feel like...
No, bag's still on you. It just looks awful.
Even in the bath?
Even in the bath. If it's a cursed item, I don't know what to tell you. You picked it up.
Get the bag.
And she does. But we're moving on from that. As you do eventually make your way to the dining hall, it is everything that you would expect. It's gilded and laden with food, everything that you could possibly imagine to eat. And around this table, you continue this conversation.
If it is not what you seek, then there is nothing to worry about. You will be back in the same place that you were before all of this happened. If it is, then... we will figure it out.
You're right. Regardless, there's work to be done.
But I mean, here's the thing. Look, even despite poor Yorgi, may rest in peace, and Farron, things are kind of looking up. We may be curse-free.
We'll see. That's a very big may.
I'm trying to stay optimistic.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna... I mean, even Virgil is mighty happy. He's feeling so chipper about locking away the darkness in that old amber key. There's only reason to celebrate, and we get a big old bucket of popcorn.
All three of you are right. I apologize. Optimism is good.
Look, I know that we've been through some dark times, but the ultimate consolation to me is that Phipps ain't shit, that little fucking freak of nature.
Even Marius can't help but have like a wry smile cross his face as he thinks about his horrific end. Yes, regardless, it was a bit of justice.
Did they provide like a bowl of hay for me, or like a bale of hay, or should I?
No, they didn't.
I'll all of my hay would have come out in like the bath, and so as I transfer into the clothes awkwardly, it's all like it's creaking. I'm like, oh, I gotta get it out of the bath. And gosh, I feel a mighty hungry skeleton. It'll look like. I start.
It's like wet haze. That's the nightmare. There's no way to solve that.
As I put on
There's no
the new
solving
clothes, I'm like trying to stick it in. Oh gosh, I'm even skinnier than usual.
Does it have to be hay?
Well, I mean, it could be anything, I suppose, but I'm a scarecrow.
I go over to one of the.
I'm a self-respecting scarecrow, I'll have you know.
And I'm gonna take a knife and I'm gonna
Jesus.
diagonal across one of the couch cushions, and I'm gonna pull out the cotton. Here.
I'm going to pretend I didn't see that.
It's important you look your best.
It's probably down, to be fair. I mean, there's no way they've
it's
caught
not.
me in a manner that's like
Oh,
this.
feathers!
It's their feathers.
I'm like, oh! I'm like,
I
deep
thought
down, like, oh my
thought
God.
about making it hay just for,
Oh,
but no.
Virgil, you're always saying that I'm gonna start growing feathers. This is a good thing. Gosh! I start stopping myself and suddenly I'm like,
You're like Popeye. Like Buffy
that had already happened because you were currently sitting in the dining room. I just want to make sure.
yeah, that's already happened.
Do we have to have put the wigs on, or can I say that like Marius for once has been able to like comb his hair and like?
Oh no,
We have to
you
wear
put
wig.
the wigs on.
Okay.
You imagine they're not going to make you keep the wigs on for the entirety of your stay, but he's being very being very strict about that you are dressed to code.
I'm really impressed by how well tailored my outfit is. It fits where it should, and yet I never saw a tailor, and so I'm very much enjoying the luxuries of this sudden change in atmosphere.
It would have been a very, very, very long time since Marius had done anything like this, but he would be familiar with some of the rituals of being at court, right? And like, but it would have been many, many decades since he's done anything like this.
And you watch as many of the members of the household here make their way in to replenish your drinks, pour you more wine, refill the veritable troughs of food. And the thing that you begin to notice about all of them is that none of them are human. None of them are living, breathing entities. Some are carved from wood, some are puppets, strings exposed, some are jointed dolls, but all of them are dressed in the most beautiful regalia. Everything intricately tailored, beautifully embroidered, and completely spotless and clean. Every wig freshly powdered. All of the paint on their bodies is clearly upkept. There is not a hair out of place as they all make their way through, and occasionally they chat with you. Some of the entity or some of these the servants flirt with you a little as you chat with them in that way. None of it serious, all of it for fun.
Is there a cute doll? Is there like a cute woman doll?
Yeah, of course.
Because Jericho's gonna have his heart broken.
Yeah, he's gonna have his heart broken. He's in love.
He's 100% in love.
Gosh, I'm ready to be hurt again.
Gosh, I'm ready to be hurt again. Exactly right, Mr. Marius.
Yeah, there's a cute, bubbly, bubbly servant who makes her way in, and she's replacing warm towels for you to clean your hands between courses. And she always makes sure to bring you an extra warm towel. At one point, she helps and she picks up the towel and she dots your face, even though you're not really eating anything. She does this in a way to help you. You see that even though dolls can't blush, the rouge on her cheeks is so bright, she looks like she's eternally flustered. But your night is peaceful and it's lovely. The sounds of the music throughout this house, there's clearly, Jesus Christ, Mike.
Oh! Where the fuck did you get that, Jericho?
You want to be your group?
The house itself tears you to pieces. The chateau itself.
There's clearly a ballroom somewhere on this floor, and a band or an orchestra is playing music. You can hear laughter from the hallway. This house is alive and filled with people, though most of them you haven't met. And the dinner is pleasant and is warm and is comfortable. You spend 2 hours at least here just filling up and drinking and relaxing from the day's events. And if there's nothing more you want to do, as the night begins to wind down, though the music doesn't stop and the servants don't stop coming. That sounds awful. I wish I had just remembered. Fuck. Jean-Luc makes his way back into the dining area and lets you know that once you are ready to be escorted to your rooms, he will escort you.
I would just say that, like, this is absolutely probably the first moment of any safe feeling that any of us would have since stepping foot in this horrific, accursed land.
Yep.
So Marius would absolutely be eating and drinking his fill and, like, over-imbibing on wine,
Overindulging,
for
yeah.
sure. Absolutely, for the first moment in forever, being able to, like, let his guard down, knowing the power of Philip and Adela, and being in a place where we probably feel untouchable, and able to finally relax a little bit, he would be filling up on food and absolutely overindulging on wine.
And, I mean, we've only experienced one feast of opulence before, which is in direct contrast to the people. And we were with a creepy gluttonous pervert.
You were!
Who was abusing Hugo. And so, like, we couldn't
And
even...
fucking a pigeon hag.
Yeah, I mean, he was the worst.
Making pancakes.
He was the fucking worst. I mean, this is such a contrast to that meal. Where this is the first time we've been able to relax, and I think Jericho would do the same thing. Where he probably can't taste any of it, but basically, even stuff that Virgil doesn't crave. He said, "Oh gosh, I suddenly have a craving for tea."
Yeah, I would be indulging.
I don't know
too.
why.
And I, even though I can like just barely taste anything, like I would just the ritual of it and being able to sit and feast is something that he very much used to do, and to sort of to Annie's point, like feels very safe, and like this is our chance to relax and breathe and not be looking over our shoulder.
I think we'd be smiling and
laughing
and telling stories and enjoying each other's company.
I feel I have been put into the stories of Bridgerton, Marius. Did you ever see that program?
I have no idea what that even means, Lethica. Please, tell us.
I always thought it's pronounced Bridgerton.
Bridgerton?
Bridgerton.
Well, I only ever read it, so perhaps you are correct.
Oh.
I said, how am I the only one who hasn't heard of this?
Oh, it is a relatively new story. Very romantic, very filled of...
Wrong period in history.
Wrong period of history?
Bridgerton is the Georgian period which happens just after Rococo France.
Okay.
So it's the early 1800s and not the late 1700s. But it's fine.
Good soup, this.
But keep going.
I imagine that it's good soup.
I'm learning. I'm learning to eat like what real person.
I mean, all of this is fantastic.
I got soup on my.
No, Jericho. The nice folk, you have to eat correctly. Wait, do I not have another pencil? Oh, you took a pencil.
I took it.
It's not this. You have to do this.
He's right.
That? Here, let me
If
try.
you do this, you look like a fucking savage.
Briggsy, I'm surprised. You know as much as you do about all of this.
I took cotillion, all right?
Who's that?
It's a
Get
long story.
schooled, Marius.
I'm impressed.
Virgil's been scolding me too. I'm sorry. God, gosh, everyone's giving me lip tonight. Usually I just kind of open the old hatch and just chuck in the flesh.
Enjoy it. That's half of the pleasure of doing all of this is to enjoy it.
It just goes down into the demon vault, I suppose, inside and Virgil.
I was always taught that you use your dominant hand to hold the fork and then cut with your other hand so that you can more easily place the food in this way.
Oh gosh. Well, I'm learning a lot. I'm trying to be more of an upper class fine folk, but that just ain't where I come from.
As Marius was saying earlier, the way to approach it is to have overconfidence. We are heroes. We are Going to have to smile a lot and nod.
This is nice.
It's been decades since I've done anything like this, but old habits die hard.
Ooh. What is this drink called? Moonshine. It comes out of a charming jug. Well, I propose a toast to the generosity of Lord Philip and Lady Adela, and to our dearest best friends, Yorgrim and Farron.
May they rest in peace.
May they rest in peace. Now their watch is ended, their journey's over, and
They've
we
come
shall
to
never
journey's
see their
end.
like again. Cheers.
Yeah.
You cheer and you drink and you celebrate the life of the friends, of your friends, Farron and Yorgrim. And the night continues on. For a few hours, you spend here drinking and feasting until your bellies are full, your senses are a little muddled, but you are happy and warm. Eventually, Jean-Luc collects you and helps you to your room. Some of you stumble a little with the alcohol that you've imbibed, but you're laughing. He laughs along with you as he helps to right you. As you make your way through the winding corridors of this place, it is incredibly large. The frescoes on the ceiling look like they stretch on forever, and eventually you turn down a wing of this house and are led to a large recessed doorway and alcove. You enter into it, and there's a roaring fire in the hearth. The candles are flickering. You see that pushed up against the wall is one singular bed. A large bed that is surrounded in tapestries, far larger than any bed you've ever seen. This bed looks like it could fit 10 people in it, side by side. And at first, you're a little shocked to see one bed for all of you. But Jean-Luc opens a door which leads to another room with another large bed.
Oh, thank the
I thought we were
gods.
gonna do that scene in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
No, I just...
just.
Jean-Luc eventually shows you that there are a total of 4 adjoining rooms, all with one connecting sitting area.
Oh,
that
with the
you
new
can
common room, sweet.
all enjoy a nice private place to yourself. All of the rooms have their own private baths with beautiful porcelain clawfoot tubs. And that you have each been assigned a servant to assist you should you need them. And with the simple pull of a rope that rings a bell, you have someone to attend to your every need, day or night. And with a thank you from him, the entirety of Chateau Clair de Lune, and especially Lord and Lady Druskenwald, he welcomes you to Chateau Clair de Lune, and he makes his leave. And you are all left in this space.
This is a heck of a lot bigger than a broom closet, Virgil. We really are fine society now.
Oh, Jericho, this is true luxury, and I am surprised by how much I missed it.
I mean, it's awfully nice. I've never experienced anything like this.
Do rich folk and nobility and royalty, do they get to experience this like every day?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
This is how the fucking governors live, that's for sure.
And keep in mind, I was merely a knight. I was able to indulge from time to time, given my relationship with the king. But these people, they experience wealth and opulence beyond our imagination daily.
You know, I used to sing this song that the children really liked about a castle in the clouds, and this is how I always imagined it looking. It's just like out of the songs and the stories that the singers say, my yours truly included.
I mean, to be able to pull a rope and summon like a ghost to show up and be like some sort of puppet or something.
There's a real genuine person.
That is something that is curious, is it not? And I will reach forward and pull one of the cigars that have been clearly left for us.
Yes, definitely. You have all already changed. You've gone to your different rooms and changed, and you have all found the most comfortable silk pajamas that you could possibly imagine. All of them have your initials embroidered over the chest.
I need a pair of these bad boys.
Lethica, yours were paired with this beautiful feathery robe that wraps around you, keeping you warm and also keeping you modest. As you pick up this cigar and begin to smoke.
Yeah. It would probably look extremely out of character, but I'm not fucking around when I say that she would absolutely see a cigar and be like,
There's vintage Burger King merch in my room.
What the fuck?
Everything says BK on it.
You're so dumb.
That's amazing.
Isn't that cool?
To Jericho's point about summoning the servants at any time, I would in that moment be curious and say, "You're right, Jericho. Let's find out about this. I need more wine." And I would pull wherever the call is that we were shown, to see if I can summon.
In each one of the rooms, there's a large rope
try
that
it
hangs
out.
with a tassel, and when you pull it, a bell rings somewhere else in the house, and immediately you hear the pattering of footsteps as one of the servants makes their way towards the room. They open the door and stand at attention in front of you.
I look at Jericho and I kind of motion to him. Wine and lots of it, please.
Right away. And with a gentle bow, the servant leaves, and shortly after brings back a tray that has 4 different bottles of wine and glasses.
Gosh.
Not bad, right?
No, not bad at all. Genuine living. So this is always what you was talking about, eh, Virgil? I could get mighty used to this.
I feel so low class compared to everything we're surrounded with. I feel like I need to work on myself.
Me too, Briggsy. Maybe if they offer cotillion courses here, we can learn how to be genuine high society.
Maybe they have like a dialect coach and I can work
Oh,
on the
we
accent.
only have 3 days until we are going to embarrass ourselves in front of all the ladies and lords of the Crescent Court.
Should we try new voices now?
Maris gives you the most incredulous look that you have ever seen.
That is a sign for Bring me more wine, dude.
that was very good, Briggsy.
What do you think? That's pretty good.
That was surprisingly good.
Briggsy, are you feeling all right?
No, that's exactly what they all sound like.
I'm concerned. I'm deeply concerned, Briggsy.
I say, Marius, that's a cadaver, isn't it?
That's
Dear
remarkable.
God.
It's
Like
pretty,
I'm looking into a royal throne
pretty good,
room.
right? Oh my, a spectre is bringing me English muffins.
Let me try. More wine.
Oh, that was so good. How did you do that?
How did I? That was really
Wow,
good.
that was so much better than what I did.
I didn't know I could do that.
Hold on, I'm gonna try to imitate that.
I'm like a ventriloquist.
Oh, more cigarettes, please.
I can't keep a straight face.
Is that bad, Mary? You can tell me if it's that bad.
Well, I don't know about you. Sleep is all new to me, but I'm feeling mighty tuckered out, so I think I'm gonna call it an evening.
I'm not going to be far behind you. In fact, if I have an opportunity to sleep in for the first time in my life, don't wake me. Unless there's serious danger, do not wake me.
Don't we have wine coming?
We are waiting on the
It's
wine.
right. It's right
They
there.
already,
No,
they
it's
already
already
brought
on
it.
Oh,
Oh, Clarence.
Briggsy, I am becoming very concerned.
Briggsy, that's so good.
Bring me a shrubbery.
That's so good, Briggsy.
The servant that brought the wine is already left.
Oh. I thought he may still be here.
before you go to bed,
Date.
and I do think that we talk about what we do amongst these people. But
That's tomorrow.
that is a tomorrow problem. Have we all noticed the same quality the servants share?
Oh, I'll say you did notice something else while you were eating. You encountered so many of the servants that though most of them were puppets and dolls and things like that, you did notice that some of them were also just skeletal. That they were.
Oh, cut that.
Well, no, I'll let you finish.
That actually reminded me. No, that was all. It's just that they were intermixed, almost as if Adela's whims in some of the servants, and then you could see the ones that were more skeletal and spiritual, which were clearly.
And I've never
Philip's.
seen anything like either of these creatures.
No.
That was very new for me, and I have lived a long life. Wouldn't do any of you know what these creatures are or where they're from?
Upon, are you wearing your mask? Like, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, fucking weirdo. Upon mentioning the servants or bringing this up, I would intentionally like to. I mean, I like to think that Marius would be very aware of it, but. Would I be able to be as aware as I think that I would be that the only heartbeats that I'm hearing is that one?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
There's only one in the room.
Or anywhere we've
Anywhere.
been, right? I think
Anywhere.
Marius would be incredibly, it would be so deafeningly silent that all he'd be able to focus on is Lathika's heartbeat.
That's true.
I shouldn't have had so much wine. I would pick up immediately on what you're talking about. And then basically say, to everyone, I noticed immediately.
Where do you think they came from? Are they conjured, constructed somehow, or perhaps peoples of this land?
Probably so. I mean, I think they said that the only really predominantly human province was Folson's. So we probably got all sorts of fantastical folk that we're going to meet on our grand adventures. And or maybe it's all just out of Miss Adela's dreams.
Aren't we kind of in a land of the dead? You know what I mean? I mean, it's sort of...
That's what I was going to say. We're acutely aware that this is a land of death.
It's what it says on the tin.
Lord Philip is very powerful, as we saw not even hours ago. It makes sense that the servants and people here would be undead, constructed, reborn. I don't even know what to begin to call it.
There is still so much to learn about this world we have found ourselves to. Even if it was not for the promise, the reward, the prize that Philip says he will gift us, which I admit excites me very much. Even if it was not for that, I feel resonance with this space. I feel not a home here, but a calling.
For as nice as all of this is, it's unsettlingly quiet.
What do you mean, calling?
It is as we were in full sense I first sensed that perhaps I could find some greater purpose here. Not that I am here to proselytize each of you, but to spread the word of my goddess, my Dark Lady. Her teachings here would be very potent.
Why is that so funny, Virgil? Why are y'all laughing all the time? What does that even mean? You're a weird, gross crow.
Huh. Huh. Proselytize. It's a fancy person word.
Well, I'm feeling awful sleepy. So, I feel mighty clean. I ain't never had a bath before. That was strange. I can't believe my filthy sack is no longer filthy. I kind of missed how it was, but I'm sure I'll get used to it.
I've never been happier in my fucking life.
I'm glad to hear that.
That I can sleep than I am right now.
Well, let's take advantage of it.
Yes.
Aye.
I, for one, am retiring soon. I let the wine get to my head, and my head is just pounding.
Get some rest. And sleep in, old man.
Yes. Yes, for once I hope that I will.
Leave the heavy lifting to us young, strapping lads.
But if there's danger, please get me. All right?
Yes.
I know it's unlikely here, but we still shouldn't let our guard down entirely.
There's gonna be danger here. Just fucking take me to that point.
Nothing bad's gonna happen. This is Adela's dream house. It don't get more perfect and idyllic. It's utopian.
Exactly right. We're gonna be fine. Just try to take the edge off.
This is right. Maybe Miss Adela is an angel. This feels like what I always imagined heaven to be. Maybe Miss Adela is an angel, and she welcomed us into heaven.
If it ain't heaven, it's probably fucking close.
I'm gonna have some sweet dreams of angels on high, singing a nice tune for Yorgrim and Miss Farron. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Jericho.
I'll go to the far end. I'll probably just try to stand on the bed. Oh, that's not how you do it. And I'll just lay down awkwardly and like try to toss and turn until I fall asleep. I'll stand
There's
up.
a central room connected
Yeah,
to
so
bedrooms.
you're connected to 4 bedrooms.
Yeah.
And so you, I'm assuming, are all going to your individual bedrooms.
I will choose a bedroom and make it mine.
You all make your way out of the common.
Briggsy,
I'm getting the hang of this.
Briggsy, go to bed.
Good night.
You all make your way out of the common room and make your way into your individual bedrooms, and you're all dressed in your pajamas, this soft silk pajamas, and sinking into these feather beds, large feather beds. It is incredibly warm. There is a stone, a heated stone that had been recently pulled from the fireplace at the foot of the bed, just beneath the covers, that help to create almost like an oven inside of this bed, keeping you all warm. And it is incredibly cozy. Your heads, those of you that can be affected by alcohol, are swimming with the liquor that you've had tonight. But it is a comfortable liquor. Think about, or it's a comfortable drunk, as you think about everything that had happened today. And as horrible and sad as what happened was, you find yourself smiling as you think about Yorgrim and you think about Farron. Think about what you've done for Cyril, for Folsons. You can finally put that place behind you, doing everything you possibly could have to protect it and its people. What you've done for Droskenwald as a whole is incredible. And it is in that you find comfort, in the memories that you have with your friends that you find comfort. Snug in your beds, you fall into the most comfortable slumber you've experienced in years, perhaps ever. Then you all begin to dream. You are shrouded in mist, overwhelming, choking, all-consuming. You can't control your own limbs. You are powerless. In the misty purgatory, you feel the cold iron of chains wrap around you, imprisoning you as you begin to fall down, down, down. You sink deeper and deeper until darkness entombs you. The grave silences all. Then, a break. Your chains are shattered along with the all-consuming mist. You rip yourself away from the broken links and pull yourself out from a cocoon, its misty threads falling aside as you rise. 2 brilliant wings unfurl around you like a moth made of moonlight itself. You rise into the night sky, unbound, unchained, unbroken, and unstoppable. And that is where we will end the session.